Every person has the potential to live a better life, to grow stronger, and to achieve more than they think is possible. The key to unlocking this potential begins with how you treat yourself. When you truly value yourself, when you commit to your own growth and well-being, everything in your life starts to improve. This book is about taking control of your life in practical ways. It is about building habits that strengthen your days, shaping your thoughts to create the future you want, and setting clear boundaries that protect your energy and focus. You will learn how to manage your time, your emotions, your relationships, and even your money in ways that create stability and freedom. Each chapter is designed to give you practical steps you can apply immediately, not ideas you will forget tomorrow. You will discover how to track your progress, celebrate your achievements, and face your fears without letting them control your actions. You will explore how to surround yourself with the right people, remove toxic influences, and keep moving forward even when results feel slow or distant. This book is about creating a life where every day counts. You will learn to make choices that align with your values, to speak to yourself with kindness, and to take responsibility for your growth without waiting for someone else to validate you. You will uncover the importance of discipline, resilience, and consistency, and you will see how small daily actions lead to big long-term results. By the end of this journey, you will understand how to love yourself enough to level up in every area of your life. You will feel stronger, more confident, and more prepared to take on challenges while creating opportunities that match your goals. Each page is designed to guide you toward practical change, steady progress, and meaningful transformation. If you are ready to stop waiting for life to happen to you and start taking control of your growth, this book will show you exactly how. You will find insights, exercises, and encouragement that make improvement real, achievable, and sustainable. This is your guide to building a better version of yourself every single day, to shaping a future that reflects your potential, and to finally living a life that matches your highest standards. Every chapter will challenge you to take action, reflect honestly, and commit to practices that strengthen your mind, body, and spirit. You will discover ways to manage your thoughts, protect your peace, and develop habits that keep you moving forward. By embracing these principles, you will create momentum that carries you through difficulties and pushes you towards success in ways you might not have thought possible. The journey to leveling up begins with how you treat yourself today. The lessons in this book are not about quick fixes or temporary motivation. They are about building long-lasting habits, creating real results, and developing a mindset that supports growth in every aspect of your life. You will be guided through actionable steps that anyone can apply, regardless of where they are starting from. By reading and applying these strategies, you will gain clarity on what you truly want, learn how to maintain focus on your goals, and discover how to act with confidence and consistency. You will also learn how to overcome obstacles, manage setbacks, and stay disciplined even when the path is difficult. This is not theory, this is practical guidance designed to produce real change. Every idea in this book is meant to help you improve your life day by day. You will learn to value yourself, protect your energy, and make choices that lead to growth. You will find encouragement to face challenges head-on, to celebrate progress, and to maintain forward momentum no matter how slow results may seem. By committing to these principles, you can create lasting improvements that touch every area of your life. This book will guide you through understanding your worth, taking control of your daily actions, and committing to continuous improvement. You will learn how to focus on progress rather than perfection, how to measure success in meaningful ways, and how to strengthen your confidence through self-kindness and reflection. The tools and strategies provided are meant to empower you to take immediate action while building habits that compound into long-term results. By the end, you will have a clear understanding of how to live intentionally, make disciplined choices, and prioritize growth in all areas of your life. You will have practical methods to track your goals, face fears, and navigate challenges with resilience. You will learn how to set boundaries, remove toxic influences, and surround yourself with people who inspire your best self. Most importantly, you will learn how to love yourself enough to level up and create a life that reflects your true potential. This is your opportunity to take control of your growth, strengthen your habits, and transform your life step by step. The guidance in this book is actionable, practical, and designed to help you see real progress. Every chapter will equip you with the knowledge, strategies, and motivation you need to make meaningful changes starting today. The question is whether you are ready to commit to yourself and take the steps necessary to level up in every area of your life. Chapter 1. Choose to believe you are worthy of real growth. Everything that follows in life begins with the belief that you deserve something better than where you are now. No amount of effort, no strategy, no book, and no mentor can do the inner work for you if you carry the idea that growth is for others but not for you. The first step toward leveling up in any area of life is not external, it is internal. It is the conviction that you are worthy of real change, of real progress, and of real fulfillment. Until that conviction is solid, every action will feel temporary, and every effort will collapse the moment challenges arise. Most people never live the life they dream of, not because they lack the ability, but because they have quietly accepted the story that says they are not enough. They tell themselves they are too late, too old, too damaged, too uneducated, too unlucky. These are not truths. They are limits shaped by years of comparison, criticism, or disappointment. The truth is, the moment you decide that you are worthy, you begin to dismantle the invisible walls that have held you back. Believing in your worth is not about arrogance or pretending you have all the answers. It is about recognizing that life will give you only what you believe you deserve. If you think you are undeserving of growth, you will unconsciously sabotage opportunities. If you think you are capable of improvement, you will step into rooms you once avoided, take on challenges you once resisted, and persist in ways you once thought impossible. The challenge is that many people wait for proof before they allow themselves to believe. They want the job first, the relationship first, the opportunity first, the recognition first. Only then will they give themselves permission to feel worthy. But waiting for proof is a trap. Proof does not come before belief. Belief is the soil, proof is the harvest. You cannot demand a harvest without first planting the seed. To choose to believe in your worth means you start where you are, not where you wish you were. It means you look at your life honestly, with all of its flaws, mistakes, and regrets, and you still say to yourself, I am worthy of better, and I will act as if that is true. This decision will not remove pain or erase failure, but it will change your relationship with both. Instead of seeing pain as punishment, you will see it as part of the growth process. Instead of viewing failure as proof of your inadequacy, you will view it as evidence that you are moving forward. There will be voices that try to challenge your belief. Some will come from the outside in the form of criticism or doubt. Others will come from within, in the form of old fears and insecurities. You cannot silence every voice, but you can refuse to obey them. Every time you choose action over hesitation, every time you choose persistence over quitting, you are strengthening the belief that you are worthy. This choice must be renewed daily. You cannot declare your worth once and assume it will carry you through life. Each morning brings the chance to slip back into doubt or to rise into belief. Growth demands consistency, and consistency is impossible without self-worth. A person who doubts their worth cannot endure the difficulties of building a better life, but a person who knows they are worthy will see difficulties as temporary and overcome them with resilience. To live by this principle, you can begin with small, practical steps. Start by catching the way you speak to yourself. Most people are harsher to themselves than they would ever be to a friend. They call themselves lazy, stupid, or hopeless. Each word shapes belief, and repeated often enough, it becomes identity. Replace destructive words with constructive ones. Do not tell yourself you are failing. Tell yourself you are learning. Do not tell yourself you are weak. Tell yourself you are strengthening. The brain follows language, and your life will follow the brain. Another step is to take ownership of your progress, no matter how small. When you complete a task, even something as simple as a morning walk or preparing a healthy meal, acknowledge it. These acknowledgements are not trivial. They are daily reminders that you are capable, that you are acting in alignment with your growth, and that your worth is not in question. Small acknowledgements stack into larger confidence, and larger confidence produces lasting belief. You can also surround yourself with reminders of growth. Keep a journal of lessons learned, not just successes. Write down the times you overcame discouragement, the times you stayed disciplined, the times you chose patience over impulse. Looking back on these entries will remind you that growth is already happening and that you are not standing still even if progress feels slow. At some point, you must face the fears that tell you that you are not enough. Growth is impossible without confrontation. If you fear failure, try anyway. If you fear rejection, speak anyway. If you fear judgment, act anyway. Each confrontation weakens the power of fear and strengthens the belief that you are worthy of moving forward regardless of outcome. You will discover that the thing you feared had less power than you imagined, and that you had more courage than you believed. The discipline of believing in your worth also means you stop excusing yourself from opportunities. Too often, people see doors open in front of them but do not walk through because they assume they will not succeed. They imagine failure before they even begin. Stop predicting failure. You are not a fortune teller. The future is not written. You owe it to yourself to step forward and test your strength. Every opportunity declined because of self-doubt is a quiet decision to remain the same. Every opportunity taken, no matter the outcome, is an act of belief. The greatest obstacle to this belief is comparison. The moment you measure your worth against someone else's progress, you diminish your own. Their chapter is not your chapter, and their pace is not your pace. Growth is not a race. It is a personal journey. If you compare, you will either inflate yourself falsely or diminish yourself unnecessarily. Both lead to imbalance. Measure yourself only against who you were yesterday, not against who someone else is today. Belief in your worth is not a feeling you wait for. It is a choice you make. Feelings are unstable. They rise and fall with circumstances. Some days you will feel confident. Other days you will feel insecure. But belief must be steady regardless of how you feel. When insecurity rises, choose belief anyway. When doubt whispers, choose belief anyway. This is what separates people who grow from people who remain stagnant. Growth is built on choice, not mood. When you choose to believe you are worthy, you begin to act with dignity. You stop tolerating environments, relationships, and habits that degrade you. You stop settling for less than what aligns with your values. You stop chasing temporary pleasures that rob you of long-term fulfillment. Belief in your worth leads to better standards, and better standards lead to a better life. This belief does not mean everything will be easy. Growth is never without resistance. You will face setbacks, criticism, and moments of exhaustion. But believing in your worth gives you the inner strength to endure. You will no longer interpret setbacks as signs that you should quit. You will see them as part of the process that everyone must pass through. You will no longer view criticism as confirmation of your inadequacy. You will see it as noise that does not define you. You will no longer allow exhaustion to convince you to stop. You will rest, recover, and continue because you know you deserve the outcome on the other side. Real growth is not about achieving perfection. It is about becoming more than you were yesterday. The person you are now may have doubts, flaws, and regrets, but none of these disqualify you. They are the raw material of transformation. When you believe in your worth, you give yourself permission to work with what you have, to improve slowly, and to accept that every step counts. There is freedom in this belief. Freedom from the weight of comparison. Freedom from the fear of judgment. Freedom from the idea that your past controls your future. Freedom from the illusion that you must earn the right to grow. You are worthy not because of what you have achieved, but because you are alive, capable, and able to act today. The more you strengthen this belief, the more opportunities will appear. Not because the world suddenly changes, but because you begin to see possibilities you once ignored. You start saying yes where you once said no. You start moving forward where you once stood still. You start working harder where you once gave up early. This shift opens doors that were always there, but hidden behind doubt. When you reach this point, you will realize that the most powerful decision you ever made was not to chase success, money, or recognition, but to finally accept that you are worthy of growth. That decision changes everything else. It changes how you speak to yourself. It changes how you spend your time. It changes who you allow into your life. It changes the goals you set. It changes the way you carry yourself in every situation. Choosing to believe in your worth is not a one-time act. It is the foundation of a lifetime. If you want to level up, if you want to improve your health, build discipline, create stronger relationships, or achieve greater success, it begins here. Without this foundation, every achievement will feel unstable. With this foundation, every achievement will feel earned and sustainable. So today, decide that you are worthy of real growth. Say it to yourself. Act like it. Live like it. When doubt comes, repeat it. When fear rises, repeat it. When failure stares you in the face, repeat it. In time, it will no longer be a phrase you say, it will be a truth you live. And from that truth, every level of growth you desire will become possible. Chapter 2. Commit to building habits that strengthen your daily life. Commitment is the turning point where intention becomes reality. Many people dream about improving their lives, but those dreams remain fantasies until they are supported by the weight of daily habits. Real transformation is not built on occasional bursts of effort, but on consistent actions that shape your character and strengthen your days. The habits you commit to either build the foundation of your future or silently weaken it. Every morning, every decision, and every repeated action is either lifting you upward or dragging you down. Building habits that strengthen your daily life begins with clarity. You cannot commit to everything at once. Spreading your energy too thin guarantees failure. Instead, focus on a few small but meaningful changes that align with the person you want to become. These habits must connect to your vision of growth, not someone else's idea of success. The moment you begin living by habits that are not your own, discipline turns into resentment. So start with honesty. Ask yourself what part of your life most needs strength. Your health, your focus, your mindset, your productivity, or your relationships. Once you know the area, identify one habit that, if done consistently, will move you forward. The challenge is not understanding what habits you need. Most people already know they should eat better, exercise more, sleep properly, plan their time, and spend less on distractions. The challenge is making the commitment stick. This is where many fail, not because the habit is impossible, but because they treat commitment as a mood. When they feel motivated, they act. When motivation fades, the habit fades. This is not commitment, it is convenience. True commitment means you act whether you feel inspired or not. The habit becomes part of who you are, not something you negotiate with every morning. To create strong habits, start small and increase gradually. If you want to exercise, begin with 10 minutes, not an hour. If you want to write, begin with 1 paragraph, not a book. If you want to meditate, begin with 2 minutes, not 30. Starting small is not weakness, it is wisdom. Small steps build consistency, and consistency builds identity. Once a habit becomes part of your identity, it no longer requires force. It becomes natural. The mistake is believing that progress must be dramatic from the start. What matters is not how much you do on day 1, but whether you show up again on day 2, day 3, and every day after. Commitment also requires structure. Habits cannot survive in chaos. If you rely only on memory and willpower, you will fail. You must design your environment to make success easy and failure difficult. If you want to eat better, do not keep unhealthy food in your home. If you want to read more, keep a book within reach wherever you spend time. If you want to use your phone less, remove distracting apps and place your device away from you when working. The environment shapes behavior more powerfully than willpower alone. Design your surroundings to support the habits that matter, and you will reduce the number of battles you must fight each day. Another critical part of building habits is accountability. Human beings naturally follow through when they know someone else is watching. This does not mean you must share every goal publicly, but it does mean you should not isolate yourself in your growth journey. Tell a trusted friend, join a group, or track your progress in a way that forces honesty. A commitment that exists only in your mind is easy to break. A commitment that is visible to others creates pressure to honor your word. Accountability transforms vague intentions into promises you intend to keep. When building habits, expect resistance. Your mind will search for excuses, your body will crave comfort, and your old patterns will try to pull you back. This is normal. Growth is uncomfortable because it disrupts familiarity. Do not interpret resistance as a sign to quit. Interpret it as proof that you are moving beyond your old limits. The more you push through discomfort, the more strength you develop. What was once painful will become routine, and what was once routine will become a new standard. The discomfort is temporary, the strength is permanent. To sustain commitment, tie your habits to a deeper reason. Habits built only on shallow motivation collapse quickly. For example, wanting to exercise just to look good for an event will not keep you consistent when the event is over. But exercising because you want to live longer, stay independent, and protect your health will keep you committed for decades. The reason must be strong enough to carry you when the habit feels difficult. When you know why you are doing something, the how becomes easier. It is also important to measure progress, not perfection. Too many people abandon their habits the moment they miss a day or fall short of their ideal. Perfection is not possible, but progress is. Missing one day is not failure. Giving up after missing one day is failure. Commitment means you return to the habit the next day, no matter how many times you stumble. Progress is measured, not in flawless streaks, but in the willingness to return again and again until the habit becomes part of you. Building habits that strengthen your daily life also means replacing harmful routines. You cannot fill your day with destructive actions and expect a few positive habits to outweigh them. Growth is not only about addition, but also about subtraction. Identify the habits that weaken you. The late night scrolling, the endless procrastination, the unnecessary spending, the negative conversations. Each of these steals energy, time and focus. Replacing them with stronger alternatives is essential. If you usually waste time online, replace that time with a learning habit. If you usually skip meals or eat poorly, replace that pattern with consistent nutrition. Subtraction is as powerful as addition when it comes to transformation. Commitment is not always exciting. In fact, the true test of commitment is how you act when the process becomes boring. Every habit eventually loses its novelty. The workout becomes repetitive, the journaling feels predictable, the meditation feels ordinary. This is the stage where most people quit, but those who endure through boredom are the ones who transform. The ability to keep showing up even when the habit feels dull is a sign of true discipline. Do not seek constant excitement. Seek consistency. Over time, the results will give you all the excitement you need. Your daily life is a reflection of your habits. If your days are filled with strong habits, your life will feel balanced, purposeful and resilient. If your days are filled with weak or harmful habits, your life will feel chaotic, reactive and draining. The difference between the two is not luck but commitment. Every person has the same number of hours. What separates them is how they choose to use those hours and what routines they commit to repeating. The truth is that you already have habits, whether you are conscious of them or not. The way you wake up, the way you spend your time, the way you respond to stress. All of these are habits. The question is not whether you have habits, but whether your habits are strengthening or weakening you. To level up, you must take control of these routines and shape them intentionally instead of living on autopilot. The reward of strong habits is not just external success. It is the inner peace of knowing you are in control of yourself. It is the confidence of realizing you are reliable and disciplined. It is the energy that comes from living in alignment with your values. These rewards are far greater than temporary pleasure, and they grow stronger with time. Every day you honor your habits. You honor yourself. When you fully commit, the habit becomes less about discipline and more about identity. You no longer say, "I am trying to be healthy." You say, "I am healthy." You no longer say, "I am trying to be productive." You say, "I am productive." The habit stops being something you do and becomes who you are. This shift is powerful because identity is stronger than willpower. You can break willpower, but you do not easily break identity. Committing to building habits that strengthen your daily life is the act of deciding who you want to be and proving it with consistent action. It is the discipline of showing up when you do not feel like it, the wisdom of starting small, the patience to persist through boredom, and the strength to return after setbacks. Over time, these choices shape not just your days, but your entire future. If you desire a stronger life, do not chase shortcuts or rely on bursts of motivation. Build habits, honor them daily, and allow them to transform you one step at a time. Chapter 3. Take control of your thoughts to shape your future. The direction of your life is deeply tied to the quality of your thoughts. Every action begins in the mind, and every decision is influenced by the way you process the world. If your thinking is scattered, negative or full of doubt, your future will reflect that confusion. But if your thinking is clear, disciplined and grounded in strength, your future will align with that foundation. This is why taking control of your thoughts is one of the most powerful choices you can make. It is not enough to react to life as it comes. You must actively guide the mind, so it becomes a tool that works for you rather than against you. Many people underestimate the influence of thought. They assume their circumstances are the primary force shaping their future, when in reality, it is the meaning they attach to those circumstances that determines their direction. Two people can experience the same event and walk away with entirely different outcomes based on how they interpret it. One may see a setback as proof of failure, while the other views it as a challenge to grow stronger. The event is the same, but the thought about the event creates two separate futures. The ability to direct those interpretations is the foundation of mental strength. The first step to gaining control is awareness. You cannot change what you do not notice. Most people move through their days on autopilot, carrying thought patterns they never question. They accept every idea that enters their mind as truth, but the mind is not always accurate. It is influenced by fear, old experiences, and outside opinions. You must slow down enough to observe the flow of your thinking. When a negative or self-limiting thought appears, ask whether it is helping or harming you. If it is harming, refuse to give it power. This discipline of observation prevents destructive ideas from becoming the story you live by. Once awareness is in place, the next step is replacement. Simply trying to resist a thought rarely works. The mind needs direction, not just avoidance. For example, if you often think, "I cannot do this," trying to silence that thought without replacing it will leave an empty space that the same negativity will fill again. Instead, replace it with something constructive, like, "I am capable of learning this." Replacement gives the mind a new path to follow, and the more you walk that path, the stronger it becomes. Over time, the new thought becomes automatic, while the old one loses strength. Control of thought also requires boundaries. Just as you would not invite strangers into your home without caution, you should not allow every outside influence into your mind. The conversations you entertain, the media you consume, and the people you surround yourself with all plant seeds in your thinking. Some seeds grow into confidence and clarity, while others grow into fear and distraction. Be deliberate about what you allow in. Guarding your mind is not about isolating yourself. It is about recognizing that what enters the mind shapes what comes out in your life. Shaping your future through thought also means directing your focus. The mind is constantly pulled in countless directions, but energy flows where attention goes. If you focus only on what you lack, your life will feel like scarcity. If you focus on opportunities, your life will feel abundant. Focus is not denial of reality. It is the discipline of choosing where to place your energy. Difficulties will always exist, but you have the choice to focus on solutions rather than problems, on growth rather than limitation, and on the future rather than the past. Another part of taking control is building a practice of mental stillness. Constant noise and distraction make it impossible to guide your thoughts with clarity. The mind must be given space to reset. This can be done through silence, breathing exercises, or intentional breaks from stimulation. Even a few minutes of stillness each day can sharpen awareness and calm the mental chaos that clouds judgment. When the mind is calm, it becomes easier to choose thoughts deliberately instead of being carried away by automatic reactions. Your future is also shaped by the standards you set in your thinking. If you allow constant negativity, self-criticism, or fear to dominate, you lower your standards for what is possible. But if you demand higher standards from your thoughts, you begin expecting more from yourself and your future. This expectation creates momentum. People often rise or fall, not to the level of their goals, but to the level of their mental standards. If you decide that your mind will not tolerate destructive patterns, your life will gradually align with that decision. Taking control of your thoughts also requires persistence. Old patterns will not disappear overnight. Thoughts that have lived in your mind for years will try to return. You may catch yourself slipping back into doubt or negativity. This is not failure. It is part of the process. The key is to correct quickly and return to the path you have chosen. Every correction strengthens your control, and every return builds mental resilience. Over time, the new way of thinking becomes natural, and the old patterns lose their hold. One of the strongest ways to strengthen control is through visualization. This is not fantasy but focused rehearsal. When you picture yourself succeeding, acting with discipline, or overcoming challenges, the mind begins to build a blueprint. The brain cannot easily distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one, so practicing success in your mind prepares you to live it in reality. Visualization, when combined with consistent action, is a powerful tool for shaping your future. Another strategy is to keep your thoughts anchored to the present. Much mental suffering comes from obsessing over the past or worrying about the future. The past cannot be changed, and the future is not yet here. The present is the only place you can act, and directing your thoughts toward what you can do now gives you power. When you catch yourself replaying regrets or predicting disasters, bring your focus back to the current moment and ask what can be done today. The habit of present-focused thinking creates steady progress and reduces unnecessary anxiety. Taking control of your thoughts is not about eliminating every negative idea. No one can do that. It is about choosing which thoughts you empower. You may not control the first thought that enters your mind, but you always control the second. You always control whether you dwell on it, feed it, or let it pass. This choice, repeated daily, shapes the person you become. Your thoughts are the architects of your actions, and your actions build your future. If you believe you are powerless, you will act weakly. If you believe you are capable, you will act boldly. If you believe change is impossible, you will stop trying. But if you believe growth is possible, you will persist until it happens. These beliefs are not random. They are shaped by the thoughts you allow to dominate your mind. The future is not built by chance. It is built by disciplined thinking that produces disciplined action. When you take control of your thoughts, you stop being a victim of automatic patterns and start becoming the creator of your own direction. This is the essence of shaping your future. You decide what stories to believe, what focus to maintain, and what standards to uphold. The power of this choice cannot be overstated. A single thought can be the beginning of a new path. One shift in perspective can change how you respond to challenges, how you treat yourself, and how you pursue your goals. When you master your thoughts, you master your future. The life you want is waiting, but it will only reveal itself when your mind is aligned with it. The sooner you take control, the sooner you step into the future you were capable of all along. Chapter 4. Create a clear vision that drives your next level. Life moves in the direction of clarity. Without a clear vision, it is easy to drift from day to day reacting to circumstances rather than creating them. People who lack vision often find themselves working hard but going nowhere meaningful because effort without direction leads to exhaustion rather than progress. Creating a vision is not about chasing fantasies, it is about deciding where you want to go and aligning your energy toward that destination. A clear vision becomes the compass that guides your choices, your discipline, and your focus. Without it, even the strongest habits and best intentions lose their power. A vision begins by asking yourself what kind of life you truly want to live. This requires honesty because many people build their goals on outside expectations rather than inner conviction. They pursue what society values or what others expect, then wonder why they feel empty when those goals are achieved. A real vision is personal. It is not about pleasing the world, but about creating a life that matches your values and your definition of fulfillment. To uncover this, you must reflect deeply on what matters most to you, what kind of person you want to become, and what contribution you want to make with your time. Once you have that clarity, you must be willing to picture it vividly. Your vision cannot remain vague. Saying you want to be successful or happy is too general. The mind cannot act on unclear statements. Be precise about what success means for you. Define what happiness looks like in your daily life. Describe the routines you want to have, the environment you want to live in, the relationships you want to nurture, and the achievements that matter to you. The sharper the image, the stronger its pull on your actions. A vague vision inspires little action, but a vivid vision creates momentum. A powerful vision also demands alignment with your values. If your vision contradicts your principles, you will feel conflicted and eventually sabotage yourself. For example, if you value freedom but set a vision that chains you to commitments that drain you, no amount of effort will bring fulfillment. Your vision must not only aim high, but also match who you are at your core. This alignment gives energy because every step forward feels authentic rather than forced. Creating vision requires courage. When you imagine a better future, fear will immediately try to interrupt. Thoughts of inadequacy, doubt, and uncertainty will appear, convincing you that what you see is impossible. This is why many people avoid vision. They fear disappointment more than they desire progress. But vision is not about guaranteeing outcomes. It is about setting direction. Even if the full picture takes years to achieve, the simple act of moving toward it creates a life of meaning. Fear will shrink when you take consistent steps forward, but it will dominate if you never dare to picture more for yourself. To make your vision drive your next level, you must break it down into clear goals and actions. Vision without structure remains only an idea. Structure is what turns imagination into reality. Start by identifying the milestones that would prove you are moving toward your vision. Then decide what daily and weekly actions will create those milestones. Each small action becomes a building block, and together they form the structure of the vision. People often fail because they try to leap directly into the final result instead of building steadily. Patience is essential because a real vision is achieved step by step. Your environment must also support the vision. Surroundings influence direction. If your vision is to live with discipline, but your environment is full of constant distraction, your progress will be delayed. If your vision is to live with health, but your environment is filled with unhealthy choices, you will struggle unnecessarily. Designing an environment that matches your vision increases your chances of success dramatically. This might mean adjusting your routines, reorganizing your workspace, or spending time with people who reinforce rather than weaken your direction. Every detail of your surroundings should serve the vision you want to bring to life. Accountability strengthens vision. When you keep your vision entirely private, it is easy to push it aside when life gets hard. But when you share it with people who support you, it creates a sense of responsibility to act. Accountability does not mean broadcasting every detail to everyone. It means trusting a few people who will encourage you and remind you of your commitment when you drift. This support system keeps your vision alive even when your motivation weakens. Another key to vision is flexibility. A rigid vision that never adapts can become a prison. As you grow, your values may sharpen and your perspective may shift. Allow space for your vision to evolve. What matters most is not clinging to a single picture, but maintaining clarity of direction. For example, you may have once imagined success in one career, but over time, discover that fulfillment lies elsewhere. Adjusting your vision is not failure, it is growth. Flexibility ensures that your vision always reflects the best of who you are becoming. You must also feed your vision daily. If you only think about it once in a while, it will fade into the background of your busy life. Review it often. Write it down. Picture it clearly, speak it out loud, remind yourself why it matters. The mind works best with repetition, And the more often you bring your vision to the front of your thoughts, the more natural it becomes to act in alignment with it. Neglecting your vision is like neglecting a fire. It will eventually burn out. Feeding it consistently keeps the flame alive. When your vision is strong, it changes the way you approach challenges. Obstacles no longer feel like permanent roadblocks. They become temporary tests on the way to something greater. Without vision, challenges feel heavy and discouraging because there is no bigger picture to place them in. But with vision, setbacks feel meaningful because you know what you are working toward. You see difficulties as part of the journey rather than as reasons to quit. This perspective builds resilience and determination. Living with vision also transforms your sense of purpose. Every action, no matter how small, feels connected to something larger. This sense of connection gives energy to tasks that might otherwise feel boring or routine. For example, waking up early, exercising, saving money, or studying a skill may not always feel exciting in the moment, but when you see them as steps towards your vision, they gain significance. Purpose is the difference between struggle that feels empty and struggle that feels worthwhile. Ultimately, a clear vision is not just about reaching a goal, it is about shaping who you become in the process. The future you picture will require a stronger, wiser, more disciplined version of yourself to achieve it. The journey forces you to grow into that person. This is why vision is essential. It pulls you into becoming more than you are today. Without it, you remain the same, stuck in routines that never challenge you. With it, you evolve into the person capable of creating a future that once seemed impossible. The greatest reward of vision is direction. Life will always bring uncertainty, but when you know where you are going, uncertainty does not paralyze you. You can adapt, adjust, and keep moving forward because your compass remains steady. A person with vision cannot be easily distracted or defeated. They may be delayed, but they cannot be stopped, because the picture of their future is clear and alive in their mind. Creating a clear vision that drives your next level is one of the most empowering decisions you can make. It gives meaning to your effort, structure to your actions, and resilience to your challenges. It is not about predicting every detail of the future, but about deciding what direction you will walk and refusing to drift aimlessly. When you hold that vision firmly and act on it daily, you begin to rise beyond your current level and step into the life you know you are capable of living. Chapter 5. Develop discipline by showing up even when it is hard. Discipline is not something that comes naturally to most people. It is something you grow into by repeatedly choosing to do what you know will move your life forward, even when it feels uncomfortable, boring, or difficult. Many people wait for the right mood or a burst of motivation before they act, but motivation is unreliable. It fades quickly, and if you depend on it, you will only act when things feel easy. Discipline, however, is about consistency. It is about showing up for your commitments, whether or not you feel like it. It is about building trust with yourself through repeated action until the act of showing up becomes part of who you are. The truth is that life rarely gives us ideal circumstances. There will be days when you feel tired, distracted, or discouraged. There will be moments when your goals seem far away and progress feels painfully slow. Those are the exact moments where discipline matters most, because those are the turning points that decide whether you stay stuck or move closer to the life you want. Every time you follow through despite difficulty, you strengthen your character. You prove to yourself that you can rely on your own word. That sense of reliability builds confidence and creates momentum that cannot be shaken by temporary setbacks. When you think about discipline, start small. You do not need to completely change your life overnight. Pick one action that aligns with the person you want to become. Maybe it is waking up 30 minutes earlier to exercise. Maybe it is sticking to your budget even when you want to splurge, or maybe it is writing one page each day toward a book you have been dreaming of. The action itself matters less than your commitment to follow through. When you make and keep small promises to yourself consistently, you begin to shape a stronger identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who quits, and you start seeing yourself as someone who follows through. Discipline also requires you to be clear about your priorities. When you know what matters most, it becomes easier to resist distractions. Without clarity, it is too easy to let short-term comfort win over long-term growth. For example, watching television may feel good in the moment, but if your vision is to build a healthier body, skipping exercise for comfort works against your greater purpose. To strengthen discipline, remind yourself daily of why you are doing the hard things. Your reason has to be strong enough to carry you through moments of resistance. It is important to understand that discipline is not punishment. It is not about forcing yourself into a rigid life that feels joyless. Discipline is a form of self-respect. It is a way of honoring your future by refusing to let temporary feelings control your actions. It is choosing what you want most over what you want now. That choice may not always feel good in the moment, but it always feels good afterward. You rarely regret following through, but you often regret giving in to excuses. To develop discipline, you must also accept failure as part of the process. There will be times when you slip, when you miss a day, or when you choose comfort over progress. What matters is how quickly you return. Do not allow one missed day to turn into a missed week or a missed month. Reset immediately and remind yourself that one setback does not erase your progress. Discipline is built through resilience, not perfection. By recommitting after a mistake, you train yourself to recover faster and to never give up completely. Another key part of discipline is designing your environment to support your goals. Willpower alone is not enough, especially when temptations are everywhere. If you want to eat healthier, stock your kitchen with nourishing food instead of relying on willpower to resist junk food in the cupboard. If you want to read more, place books where you can easily reach them instead of leaving your phone as the only option nearby. When your environment makes the right choice easier, discipline becomes more natural. Surrounding yourself with disciplined people also strengthens your own commitment. Human beings are influenced by those around them. If you spend time with people who complain, avoid responsibility, and take the easy way out, you will feel more tempted to lower your standards. But when you connect with people who stay consistent, who push themselves and who follow through, their example will remind you of what is possible. Accountability also plays a huge role. Telling someone about your commitment and letting them check in on your progress can push you to keep going when you might otherwise give up. Discipline is also about managing your energy. If you neglect your sleep, your nutrition, and your rest, showing up will feel far harder than it needs to. Self-care is not separate from discipline. It is a crucial part of it. When you take care of your body and mind, you are giving yourself the strength to remain consistent. Too often, people associate discipline only with doing hard things, but true discipline includes the decision to rest when it is necessary, so that you can keep going for the long run. Over time, discipline becomes easier because it stops feeling like something you force yourself to do and starts feeling like a natural part of your identity. Think about how brushing your teeth feels automatic because you have done it every day for years. At one time, your parents had to remind you, but eventually it became part of your daily rhythm. Discipline works the same way. At first, it requires effort, reminders, and intention. But with consistency, it becomes automatic, and it becomes harder to not follow through. That transformation only comes when you push through the early discomfort. You will find that discipline builds freedom. By showing up every day, you start achieving goals that once felt impossible. You create habits that carry you forward even when motivation fades. You gain control over your future. Instead of letting life happen randomly, you stop relying on mood and start relying on your own choices. The pride that comes from this is powerful because you no longer feel like a victim of circumstances. You recognize that no matter how hard things get, you have the ability to keep moving forward. When life gets hard, and it surely will, discipline will be the anchor that steadies you. It will remind you that your commitment is stronger than your excuses. It will show you that you can keep going even when conditions are not perfect. And the more you practice it, the more unstoppable you become. Each act of showing up builds a stronger foundation for the next. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be, and each step across it is made by choosing action over excuses. If you want to change your life, discipline is the skill that will make everything else possible. It is the habit of habits, the force that carries you through difficulty, and the proof that you love yourself enough to keep your promises. When you practice it daily, even in small ways, you will watch your life rise to levels you never thought possible. Show up today, and then show up again tomorrow, until discipline becomes the reason you are living the life you once only dreamed about. Chapter 6. Learn to say no and protect your inner peace. There comes a point in every person's life when protecting their peace becomes more important than pleasing everyone else. Saying yes to every request, every demand, and every expectation can leave you drained, resentful, and disconnected from yourself. Learning to say no is not about being selfish or unkind. It is about respecting your own boundaries and valuing your well-being enough to prioritize it. When you say yes to things that do not align with your values or that stretch you beyond what you can handle, you are saying no to yourself, and that trade comes with a heavy cost. By learning to say no with confidence, you reclaim control over your time, your energy, and your peace of mind. The first step to mastering the art of saying no is understanding your worth. Many people struggle with the fear of rejection or the fear of being disliked when they turn down a request. They worry that others will see them as difficult, cold, or unhelpful. But the truth is, your value is not determined by how much you sacrifice yourself for others. Your value comes from who you are, not how many times you say yes. When you begin to internalize this truth, the guilt associated with saying no begins to fade. You realize that protecting your peace is not a weakness, but a sign of strength and self-respect. The second step is getting clear on what truly matters to you. When your priorities are blurry, it's easy to be swayed by other people's needs and urgencies. But when you have clarity about your goals, your values, and the kind of life you want to create, it becomes easier to see which requests fit into that picture and which do not. For example, if your health is a priority, then saying no to late-night invitations that disrupt your rest is not a rejection of others. It is a commitment to yourself. If building your career or business is a focus, then declining distractions that eat up your productive time is an act of dedication to your future. Clarity simplifies choices, and choices define your peace. Once you know your worth and your priorities, the challenge becomes communicating your no with confidence and grace. A firm no does not need to be rude. It can be respectful and still powerful. Simple phrases like, "I can't commit to that right now," or "that doesn't work for me," or "I need to focus on something else at the moment," are enough. You do not owe everyone a long explanation. In fact, over-explaining often invites negotiation, making it harder to hold your boundary. Instead, practice being brief, polite, and consistent. With time, you will notice that people begin to respect your boundaries more because you respect them yourself. One of the most powerful shifts that comes with learning to say no is realizing that not every opportunity is meant for you. Sometimes we say yes because we are afraid of missing out, but in truth, saying yes to everything dilutes your energy and leaves little room for the things that are truly meaningful. Each time you decline something that doesn't serve you, you are making space for something better. You are telling yourself and the world that your energy is reserved for what aligns with your growth and happiness. This mindset transforms no from being an act of rejection into being an act of alignment. Of course, there will be people who resist your no, especially if they are used to you always saying yes. They may push back, pressure you, or even try to guilt you. This is where your inner strength must rise. Their discomfort does not mean your boundary is wrong. It simply means they must adjust to the new version of you who values peace over people-pleasing. Stand firm, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. Over time, you will build resilience, and the people who truly care about you will learn to respect your boundaries. Those who do not may fall away, and while that may feel painful, it is often a blessing in disguise because it clears space for healthier relationships. Protecting your inner peace also requires you to examine where your energy is currently being drained. Look at the commitments, the relationships, and the habits in your life that leave you feeling exhausted. Are there people who constantly take but rarely give back? Are there tasks you agree to that add no real value to your life? Identifying these drains allows you to consciously decide where to place your no moving forward. Every time you cut away what depletes you, you strengthen your ability to live in alignment with your values and protect your peace. Another important piece is practicing self-compassion. Saying no will sometimes make you feel guilty, especially if you have lived most of your life putting others first. You may second-guess your choices or feel like you let someone down. But remind yourself that guilt is not a reliable indicator of right or wrong. It is often just a sign that you are breaking an old pattern. Growth requires discomfort, and part of loving yourself enough to level up is allowing yourself to feel that discomfort without retreating into old habits. With time, the guilt fades, and it is replaced by confidence and a deeper sense of freedom. In addition to saying no to others, you must also learn to say no to yourself. This means rejecting the impulses, distractions, and temptations that pull you away from your goals. It means saying no to procrastination, to negative self-talk, to unhealthy routines, and to any behavior that sabotages your progress. Self-discipline and boundary setting are two sides of the same coin. By mastering both, you create an environment where peace and progress thrive together. Ultimately, learning to say no is about honoring your inner world. Peace is not something that arrives by accident. It is something you create by guarding your energy, your time, and your mind. The more you practice this, the more you notice the benefits: reduced stress, stronger focus, better relationships, and a deep sense of contentment. You begin to feel lighter because you are no longer carrying the weight of obligations that do not belong to you. You begin to feel stronger because your life is guided by intentional choices, not external pressures. Saying no is not just a skill, it is a form of self-love. It is the decision to put your well-being at the center of your life, so you can show up as your best self for the things and people that truly matter. Protecting your inner peace allows you to grow, to thrive, and to move forward without being pulled in every direction. When you master this, you step into a version of yourself that is grounded, powerful, and free, and that is the version of you who is ready to level up and create the life you deserve. Chapter 7. Invest in your health to fuel long-lasting energy. Your health is the foundation of everything you want to achieve, and when you choose to invest in it, you are creating the strength and stamina to keep showing up for life. Energy is not something that just appears each morning. It is something you build with consistent choices, and those choices accumulate into either a vibrant or a draining future. If you want to level up, you need to see your body and mind as your most important assets, because no goal can be sustained without the energy to carry it forward. The people who thrive into their later years and continue achieving are not the ones who simply worked harder, but the ones who took care of themselves well enough to keep going. You owe it to yourself to build routines and habits that allow you to feel stronger, clearer, and more energized every single day. The first way to invest in your health is by taking control of how you fuel your body. What you eat either builds your energy or depletes it, and most people go through their days not realizing how much their food choices affect their moods, focus, and stamina. Choosing whole foods, fresh vegetables, lean proteins, and foods rich in nutrients will do more for your long-term success than chasing quick energy from sugar and processed meals. It is not about dieting or punishing yourself, but about recognizing that every bite is either helping you or hurting you. When you begin to eat with intention, you start to feel lighter, sharper, and more capable of tackling the challenges ahead. Alongside food, hydration is often underestimated, but critical. Many people walk around tired, irritable, and foggy simply because they are dehydrated. Drinking enough water daily is one of the simplest yet most powerful steps you can take to boost your energy. When your body has the hydration it needs, it runs more efficiently, your mind stays clearer, and your physical endurance improves. Something as basic as carrying a water bottle and reminding yourself to drink regularly can completely shift how your body feels throughout the day. Exercise is another essential pillar of long-lasting energy, and it is one area where many people struggle with consistency. You do not need to become an athlete or spend hours at the gym to reap the benefits. Movement itself is the secret, whether it is walking, stretching, lifting light weights, or practicing yoga. What matters is that you are giving your body the chance to stay strong and flexible. Regular activity not only increases your physical energy, but also enhances your mood by releasing chemicals in your brain that keep you feeling positive. It teaches your body to handle stress better, and it makes you more resilient to fatigue. The hardest part is starting, but once you build the habit, movement becomes a natural fuel that supports everything else you do. Sleep is another area where too many people sacrifice their health for productivity. But true energy cannot be built if you are running on empty every morning. Quality sleep repairs your body, restores your mind, and sets you up to function at your best. Without it, even the strongest willpower cannot sustain you for long. Creating a consistent sleep routine, limiting late-night distractions, and allowing yourself to rest deeply is not a luxury, it is a necessity. When you prioritize sleep, you notice your mood stabilizing, your focus sharpening, and your physical performance improving. Stress management is just as important as diet, exercise, and sleep, because constant stress drains you faster than anything else. If you carry the weight of anxiety, unresolved emotions, or endless pressure, your energy will be consumed before you even begin your day. Investing in your health means learning how to calm your mind, release tension, and handle challenges without letting them consume you. This might involve mindfulness, meditation, journaling, or simply taking time for quiet moments that let you reset. The goal is not to eliminate stress entirely, but to stop it from controlling your energy. When you take steps to release pressure from your mind, you free up strength for the things that truly matter. Your energy is also tied to the environment you place yourself in. Surrounding yourself with supportive people, uplifting conversations, and positive spaces makes it easier to maintain healthy routines. On the other hand, being in toxic environments filled with negativity and discouragement will drain you no matter how well you eat or how much you exercise. Part of investing in your health is choosing to be in spaces that recharge you, whether that means spending more time outdoors, being with loved ones who encourage you, or simply creating a peaceful home environment where you can relax. Small daily habits add up in powerful ways. Simple actions, such as taking breaks to stretch during long work hours, stepping outside to breathe fresh air, or pausing to rest your eyes away from screens, are investments in your energy. These may seem small, but over time they prevent burnout, protect your health, and allow you to keep going with more strength. Instead of waiting for exhaustion to force you to slow down, you learn to care for yourself proactively. Long-lasting energy also comes from aligning your lifestyle with purpose. When you live in ways that contradict your values or keep you stuck in meaningless routines, your energy naturally fades. But when you engage in work, relationships, and activities that reflect who you truly are, you create a sense of fulfillment that keeps you energized. This is why health is not only physical but also emotional and spiritual. Taking care of your health includes nourishing your mind with positivity, learning new things, and creating a life that excites you. When you neglect your health, the cost eventually shows up as fatigue, illness, and frustration. But when you invest in it, the rewards touch every part of your life. You feel more alive, more focused, and more capable of reaching the goals you set for yourself. Your health is the engine behind your progress, and the more you protect and fuel it, the more unstoppable you become. The truth is, energy is freedom, the freedom to do what you want, pursue your goals, and enjoy the moments of life without being held back by weakness or exhaustion. Choosing to invest in your health is choosing to love yourself enough to give your future the best version of you possible. Chapter 8. Practice gratitude daily to increase joy and resilience. Gratitude is one of the simplest yet most powerful practices you can bring into your daily life. When you choose to focus on what is good instead of what is missing, you create space for more joy, peace, and resilience. It shifts your attention from complaints and worries to appreciation and awareness. Gratitude is not just about saying thank you when something goes your way, but about training your mind to notice the small blessings you might otherwise overlook. A warm meal, the sound of laughter, the ability to take a breath, or a friend who checks in on you, these are all moments that can be acknowledged with gratitude. The more you practice this, the more your perspective changes and life begins to feel richer and more meaningful. People often believe happiness comes from big achievements or major life events, but joy is built on daily recognition of small gifts. Practicing gratitude regularly can protect you against stress and disappointment because it keeps your focus on what is working instead of what is lacking. This mental shift helps you build resilience. When challenges arise, gratitude doesn't make them disappear, but it helps you hold on to perspective. You remember that even in difficulty, there are reasons to be hopeful and thankful. This gives you the emotional strength to move forward rather than staying stuck in negativity. One of the most effective ways to practice gratitude is through journaling. Setting aside a few minutes each day to write down 3 to 5 things you are grateful for can completely transform your mindset. These don't have to be extraordinary moments. Sometimes the smallest details are the most impactful. Over time, this habit trains your brain to automatically look for the positive. Another powerful method is verbal expression. Telling people that you appreciate them not only deepens your relationships, but also reinforces the positive feelings within yourself. Gratitude spoken aloud has a ripple effect. It uplifts both the giver and the receiver. Gratitude can also be practiced through mindfulness. Simply pausing in the middle of your day, noticing your surroundings, and taking a breath while silently saying thank you can shift your energy. This is especially valuable in moments of stress, when it's easy to get lost in frustration. Instead of letting your mind spiral, grounding yourself in appreciation brings calm and clarity. Even something as simple as appreciating the taste of your food or the comfort of your home creates moments of presence and contentment. Another key aspect of gratitude is recognizing the lessons in challenges. It's natural to feel upset when things don't go your way, but with practice, you can learn to see the growth and strength that come from hardship. For example, a difficult period might teach you patience, resilience, or empathy. Being grateful for the lessons hidden in pain doesn't mean you have to enjoy the struggle, but it allows you to extract value from it instead of letting it weigh you down. This perspective makes you stronger and more capable of handling future difficulties. Science has shown that gratitude has real effects on your mental and physical health. People who practice gratitude consistently report lower levels of stress, improved sleep, stronger immunity, and better relationships. The mind and body are deeply connected, and when your thoughts are filled with appreciation, your body often responds with greater balance and vitality. Gratitude helps reduce negative emotions like envy, resentment, or regret, replacing them with a mindset of abundance and acceptance. This allows you to experience greater emotional stability and inner peace. Building gratitude into your daily routine doesn't have to be complicated. You can make it part of your morning ritual by starting the day with a thought about what you're grateful for. You can end the day by reflecting on 3 good things that happened, no matter how small. You can even set reminders on your phone during the day. Pause and think of one thing that brings you joy. These small moments, practiced consistently, begin to rewire your thinking. Gratitude then becomes second nature, and your entire outlook shifts toward positivity. Gratitude also strengthens relationships. When you acknowledge and express appreciation for others, you nurture connection and trust. Everyone wants to feel valued, and when you let people know how much they mean to you, it not only deepens your bond, but also encourages more kindness and generosity. Gratitude fosters a cycle of giving and receiving. The more you show it, the more it comes back to you in ways that multiply your joy. In addition, gratitude can change the way you approach your goals. Instead of chasing success from a place of scarcity, where nothing feels enough, you begin to pursue growth from a foundation of contentment. You appreciate what you have while still striving for more. This balanced approach reduces pressure and anxiety, allowing you to move forward with clarity and energy. Gratitude grounds you in the present while motivating you to create a better future. Sometimes, practicing gratitude feels harder when life is overwhelming or painful. In those moments, it's important to start small. Even if you can only find one thing to be thankful for, that is enough. With consistency, the practice expands. Gratitude is like a muscle. It grows stronger the more you use it. Over time, you'll notice that even in the darkest times, you can find sparks of light that keep you moving forward. Gratitude also encourages humility. It reminds you that you are not alone in your journey, and that much of what you enjoy in life is possible because of the efforts of others. From the food you eat to the knowledge you learn to the support you receive, countless contributions from people around you and even strangers shape your life. Recognizing this interconnectedness increases your sense of belonging and makes you more compassionate toward others. A life rooted in gratitude is not free of problems, but it is full of strength, joy, and perspective. Gratitude helps you recognize what is already abundant in your life, which gives you peace in the present and resilience for the future. The more you nurture this habit, the more it changes not just how you feel, but how you live. It helps you respond to life with greater calm, treat others with more kindness, and face difficulties with courage. Gratitude doesn't just add joy to your days, it transforms your entire way of being. Chapter 9. Remove toxic influences that hold back your progress. Life becomes heavier when you carry the weight of people, habits, and environments that constantly pull you down. Every step forward feels harder when something or someone is tying you back to the very patterns you are trying to escape. That is why one of the most powerful steps toward real progress is learning to identify and remove toxic influences. It may sound simple on the surface, but the truth is that many of these influences are so deeply woven into our lives that we hardly notice how much they affect us until we step away. This process requires courage, honesty, and a strong commitment to yourself, because the longer you allow negativity to surround you, the more it shapes your thoughts, energy, and decisions without you even realizing it. When you think about toxic influences, it doesn't only mean difficult people, although that is often a big part of it. It can also be the routines you fall into that drain your energy, the places you spend time in that keep you stuck, or even the media you consume daily that floods your mind with fear and hopelessness. Each of these elements plays a role in shaping your inner world. If you surround yourself with constant chaos, don't be surprised when your mind feels restless. If your circle is filled with people who complain about everything but never try to change, it will be harder for you to stay motivated toward growth. If your daily intake is negativity disguised as entertainment, you will find yourself more reactive and less inspired. Progress demands clarity, and clarity cannot exist in an environment filled with toxins. One of the most difficult realities people face is acknowledging that some of the relationships they have carried for years are not good for their well-being. It could be a friend who constantly discourages your ideas, a family member who belittles your choices, or even a colleague who thrives on creating conflict. You may have tolerated these behaviors out of loyalty, habit, or fear of being alone, but if you want to move forward in life, you have to ask yourself a very direct question. Do these relationships add to my growth, or do they subtract from it? When you begin to answer honestly, you often realize that loyalty to others without loyalty to yourself leaves you empty and resentful. Protecting your progress requires making hard decisions about who gets access to your energy. Another toxic influence that quietly erodes progress is comparison. In today's world, it is easy to measure yourself against someone else's highlight reel, forgetting that what you see is rarely the full truth. Comparison steals joy, kills creativity, and blinds you to your own unique path. The more you compare, the more you undervalue your own progress, which makes it harder to keep moving forward. To remove this toxic influence, you have to redirect your attention back to your own lane. Every small improvement you make is meaningful because it belongs to your journey, not anyone else's. By focusing on your own growth instead of someone else's timeline, you regain control over your direction. Toxic influences can also show up in your own habits. Procrastination, constant negative self-talk, or overindulgence in things that numb rather than heal are just as harmful as external negativity. Sometimes the battle is not with people around you, but with patterns you have allowed to grow inside yourself. Breaking these cycles requires awareness and consistent action. If you notice that your first instinct is always to delay what matters most, you must practice small but steady discipline. If you catch yourself saying "I can't" or "I'm not good enough," you must interrupt that voice and replace it with something stronger. Toxic habits are often comfortable, which is why people stay in them for years, but comfort does not equal progress. Real growth begins when you replace destructive cycles with healthier ones that fuel your energy rather than drain it. Protecting your progress also means being intentional about the spaces you allow yourself to spend time in. Some environments make it nearly impossible to stay aligned with your goals. If you constantly place yourself in settings filled with gossip, drama, or endless distractions, then your mind will absorb that energy whether you want it to or not. It's important to create spaces that support peace and productivity. This could mean choosing a quiet corner to reflect in the morning, joining groups that encourage growth, or simply reducing the time you spend in environments that do not serve you. The place you put yourself in shapes how far you can go. Removing toxic influences doesn't always happen overnight. Sometimes it is a gradual process of creating distance, setting stronger boundaries, or changing routines step by step. What matters most is the direction. Even small adjustments, like limiting conversations with negative people or reducing your exposure to unhealthy content, make a difference. Each step you take creates more space for positive energy, stronger habits, and clearer focus. Over time, the weight that once held you down begins to lift, and your path forward becomes lighter and more possible. It is also worth remembering that removing toxicity is not about anger or revenge. It is not about proving anyone wrong or holding grudges. It is about protecting your peace, your growth, and your ability to build the life you want. When you step away from harmful influences, you are not being selfish, you are being responsible. You are acknowledging that your energy has value, and that value deserves to be invested in people, habits, and environments that help you thrive. Some people will not understand your decision to distance yourself from negativity, and that's okay. Growth often requires moving in a different direction than those around you. Not everyone will join you on your path, but that doesn't mean you should stop walking. The truth is, the more you free yourself from toxic influences, the stronger and more resilient you become. You will find that you have more energy, more focus, and more joy to give to the things that truly matter. The greatest progress comes when you decide that you will no longer allow your future to be shaped by forces that work against you. By letting go of what holds you back, you create room for what can lift you higher. And once you experience the freedom of moving forward without unnecessary weight, you will never want to go back. Protecting your progress is not only about removing what is harmful, but also about honoring your own worth. You are not here to carry the burden of toxic influences. You are here to grow, build, and live fully. And every step you take to clear the path brings you closer to the future you deserve. Chapter 10. Surround yourself with people who inspire your best self. Think about the people you spend the most time with, and then ask yourself if being around them makes you feel more alive or more drained. This question is important because your environment is shaping you in ways you may not even notice. If the people closest to you challenge you to grow, encourage your dreams, and make you believe in yourself, then you are setting yourself up for a stronger, more fulfilling future. But if you are constantly surrounded by negativity, gossip, and discouragement, then you are quietly being pulled backward, no matter how much effort you put into moving forward. Human beings are influenced by what they see, hear, and experience daily, and your inner circle acts as a mirror reflecting back what you believe about yourself. That's why it is so critical to be intentional about who you allow into that circle. When you are around people who think bigger, you naturally begin to think bigger too. Their words, their ideas, and their attitudes seep into your own way of seeing the world. They push you to stop settling, and they remind you that more is possible. On the other hand, if your time is mostly spent with those who complain, criticize, and dwell on limitations, then you start to shrink without realizing it. Inspiration is contagious, but so is despair. Choosing people who elevate you is not about being selfish, it's about creating an environment where growth is possible. If you've ever noticed that one conversation with the right person can leave you feeling hopeful for days, you already know how powerful the right influence can be. Surrounding yourself with the right people doesn't mean only seeking out those who are ahead of you. Sometimes it means walking alongside peers who share the same hunger for improvement, even if they are on a different path. There is something powerful about not feeling alone in your pursuit. You see them working hard. You hear their struggles, and you recognize that discipline and persistence are not just your burden, but a shared challenge. That connection motivates you to keep showing up when it would be easier to quit. Community fuels consistency, and consistency fuels success. But not every connection should be held on to. Sometimes you must release relationships that no longer align with who you are becoming. This is not about judging others, but about recognizing when the energy exchange is unbalanced. If you are always the one giving encouragement, always the one lifting others, and rarely receiving support in return, you will eventually run dry. Relationships should not drain. They should restore. Protecting your space doesn't mean shutting people out entirely, but it does mean setting boundaries and recognizing that your time and energy are too valuable to spend in places where your growth is stunted. To create an environment of inspiration, you must also play your part. It is not only about what you take from others, but also what you bring into the circle. When you choose to show up with a positive attitude, share encouragement, and celebrate others' wins, you raise the energy of the group. People feel safe to dream bigger when they know they won't be judged for failing. By becoming the type of person who uplifts, you naturally attract others with the same mindset. Inspiration multiplies when people come together with shared values of growth, resilience, and possibility. Sometimes the most inspiring people are not the loudest or the most successful. They are the ones who live with integrity, who keep promises to themselves, and who handle challenges with quiet strength. Pay attention to the character of those around you, not just their achievements. True inspiration comes from those who live authentically, not just those who appear impressive on the surface. Surrounding yourself with such individuals reminds you that success is not only about outcomes, but also about the way you carry yourself each day. You may also need to look outside of your immediate environment to find the people who spark that fire in you. Books, talks, and mentorship can fill the gap when you don't yet have direct access to the community you desire. Listening to people who share wisdom, following those who live with purpose, and engaging in conversations with like-minded individuals online can begin to shape your mindset before your physical circle catches up. The important thing is to intentionally expose yourself to voices that challenge you to rise higher, instead of keeping you comfortable in mediocrity. If you've ever felt stuck, one of the fastest ways to break through is to spend time with someone who is already living at the level you aspire to. Their example reminds you that what you want is not impossible. They prove by their existence that the standard you hold in your mind is achievable. That proof ignites belief, and belief fuels action. Often, the gap between where you are and where you want to be is not about capability but about confidence. The right people help you see your own ability more clearly. At the same time, be mindful that inspiration is not about comparison. Surrounding yourself with people who push you forward should never make you feel small. The goal is not to measure yourself against them, but to let their example remind you of your own potential. When you compare, you create distance. When you learn, you create growth. Let others' success be a source of guidance rather than a source of discouragement. The right circle doesn't compete, it collaborates. The quality of your environment will always be a reflection of your priorities. If growth, joy, and resilience matter to you, then you must protect your circle with the same care you protect your health. You would not deliberately consume something poisonous, yet many allow toxic relationships to poison their mindset every day. Choosing better people is not about rejecting others, it is about honoring yourself and your future. You cannot rise in a heavy atmosphere, and you cannot thrive in a space where your energy is constantly drained. When you begin to surround yourself with people who lift you, you will notice shifts, not only in your mindset, but also in your habits, your goals, and your overall energy. You'll find yourself taking risks you once avoided, pursuing opportunities you once doubted, and speaking with more conviction. The environment you create becomes the soil for your growth, and when that soil is rich with encouragement, belief, and inspiration, you can't help but grow stronger. So take a clear look at your circle today. Ask yourself who adds to your energy and who depletes it. Notice who celebrates your wins and who dismisses them. Pay attention to who makes you think bigger and who makes you doubt yourself. Then make the necessary adjustments without guilt. You owe it to yourself to create an environment that makes it easier to become the best version of you. By surrounding yourself with people who inspire your best self, you are not only shaping your present, but securing your future. And when you do, you'll realize that success is not just about what you achieve, but also about who you become alongside the right people. Chapter 11. Track your goals and measure small wins each day. Setting goals without tracking progress is like planting seeds without checking if they are growing. Many people fail to reach their ambitions, not because they lack effort, but because they don't measure what they are doing each day. Tracking your goals is about creating visibility into your actions, so you know whether you are moving closer to what you want or drifting away. Every small step matters, and when you record it, no progress goes unnoticed. Measurement transforms intention into action. It converts vague dreams into concrete evidence of growth, and it keeps you accountable to yourself rather than relying on motivation alone. The first step is clarity. Before you can track effectively, you must know exactly what you want to achieve. Break your larger goals into smaller, actionable tasks that can be completed on a daily or weekly basis. The more specific these tasks are, the easier it is to measure progress. For example, instead of saying, "I want to get healthier," define what that looks like. Drink 8 glasses of water daily, walk 30 minutes each day, and prepare 3 balanced meals. Specificity removes ambiguity and sets a clear standard to measure against. Once your goals are clear, create a system for tracking them. Some people prefer journals, others use digital apps, and some create simple checklists on paper. The key is consistency. Recording your actions daily ensures that you remain aware of your habits and prevents small achievements from slipping through the cracks. When you see your progress visually, even minor wins create momentum. It's easy to underestimate how much cumulative effort matters, but tracking provides a concrete record that proves your growth over time. Measuring small wins is critical because success is rarely instantaneous. If you only focus on the end goal, it's easy to feel discouraged along the way. A single big milestone can take months or years, and without recognition of intermediate steps, you may lose motivation. Celebrating small achievements, even something as simple as completing a task, sticking to a habit, or learning a new skill, reinforces positive behavior and strengthens confidence. Each small victory compounds into larger outcomes, creating a sense of progress that keeps you engaged and resilient. Daily tracking also allows you to identify patterns. When you record your actions, you can see what contributes to progress and what hinders it. Perhaps you notice that you are most productive in the morning, or that certain distractions consistently derail your day. Awareness gives you the power to adjust. Without tracking, you are operating on assumption. With it, you operate on evidence. Adjusting your approach based on measurable insights ensures that every action is intentional and effective, rather than reactive or wasteful. Tracking goals is not only about accountability, but also about self-reflection. When you review what you accomplished each day, you gain clarity on your priorities and learn about yourself in the process. You start to see which habits are sustainable and which ones need refining. You can recognize the moments when you pushed yourself and those when you avoided effort. Reflection deepens understanding and enhances discipline because you are consistently checking whether your daily actions align with your larger purpose. It is important to record failures as well as successes. Many people shy away from acknowledging what didn't work, but failure is data, not judgment. When you note what went wrong, you gain insight into obstacles, mistakes, and areas for improvement. Over time, tracking failures helps you identify recurring patterns, develop problem-solving strategies, and make smarter decisions. This approach transforms setbacks into learning opportunities instead of letting them derail your motivation. Another practical step is to prioritize your daily wins. Not every task carries the same weight toward achieving your goals. Identify the actions that have the highest impact and focus on completing those consistently. Measuring small, high-value wins ensures that your energy is directed toward what matters most. Even if you cannot complete everything on your list, achieving key tasks moves you forward faster than completing many minor, low-impact actions. Tracking highlights the difference between busyness and true progress. Visualization is enhanced when you measure outcomes. When you see a clear record of your accomplishments, your mind begins to internalize the possibility of reaching the ultimate goal. Evidence of progress fuels confidence and belief in your ability. It replaces doubt with proof and anxiety with clarity. By regularly reviewing what you have done, you develop a habit of focusing on solutions and achievements rather than obstacles and delays. Finally, tracking goals creates consistency. When daily actions are recorded, you are more likely to maintain habits even on days when motivation is low. Motivation is fleeting, but consistency is powerful, and consistency is sustained by visible accountability. Your system for tracking becomes a feedback loop that keeps you aligned, focused, and driven. Each day becomes a building block toward mastery, and the small wins accumulate into significant, lasting results. By measuring progress and acknowledging each small achievement, you reinforce your commitment to growth. You stop relying on vague aspirations and begin operating with precision, intention, and awareness. Tracking transforms abstract desires into measurable realities, showing that every action, no matter how minor, contributes to the bigger picture. With this clarity, you gain momentum, confidence, and resilience to tackle challenges. A life of progress is not the result of chance, but of consistent attention to daily effort, accountability, and recognition of growth. Tracking goals and measuring small wins daily creates an environment where success is tangible, progress is visible, and motivation is constant. You build a habit of awareness that empowers every decision and every action. With time, this practice strengthens discipline, sharpens focus, and accelerates achievement. The habit of tracking becomes a tool for both reflection and strategy, turning ordinary days into a series of deliberate steps toward extraordinary results. The evidence of your effort motivates further effort, and the accumulation of small wins becomes the unstoppable force that propels you toward your highest potential. Chapter 12. Face your fears with courage to expand your limits. Fear is a natural part of life, but it does not have to control your actions or define your limits. Every person faces moments of uncertainty, moments where stepping forward feels uncomfortable or even impossible. These are the moments where courage matters most. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the decision to act despite it. When you face your fears, you open the door to growth, opportunity, and strength you never imagined you had. Avoiding fear may feel safe in the short term, but over time it limits your potential and keeps you trapped in routines that do not serve you. True progress requires taking deliberate steps into discomfort and recognizing that fear is a signal pointing to areas where you can expand. Once you identify the fear, assess its impact on your life. Ask yourself what holding back is costing you in terms of growth, opportunities, and fulfillment. Often fear exaggerates the danger of a situation or inflates the perceived consequences. When you separate perception from reality, you begin to see that the risks are manageable and that the rewards of taking action outweigh the discomfort. This analysis allows you to approach fear with a rational mindset rather than letting it paralyze you. Courage grows through small, deliberate actions. You do not need to leap into the most intimidating challenges all at once. Begin with manageable steps that stretch your comfort zone incrementally. Each small success builds confidence and proves to yourself that fear does not have to dictate your behavior. Over time, these incremental victories create momentum, making it easier to tackle bigger challenges. Courage is like a muscle. It strengthens the more you exercise it. By facing small fears consistently, you prepare yourself for the more significant obstacles that lie ahead. Mindset plays a critical role in overcoming fear. Instead of seeing fear as an enemy, view it as information. Fear signals growth, indicates a challenge worth facing, and highlights opportunities to expand your abilities. Reframing fear in this way shifts your response from avoidance to action. You begin to treat fear as a guide, pointing you toward areas of life where you can stretch, learn, and achieve more than you thought possible. Every courageous step reinforces the belief that you are capable of more than you initially assumed. Preparation is another key to facing fear effectively. The more knowledge and skills you have related to what you fear, the less overwhelming it feels. Preparation reduces uncertainty and gives you the confidence to act. This might involve learning a new skill, practicing a scenario in advance, or gathering the support and resources needed to succeed. Facing fear does not mean acting recklessly. It means taking calculated steps, supported by preparation and strategy. When you are prepared, fear loses its power to immobilize you. Accountability can also accelerate your progress in confronting fear. Sharing your intentions with someone you trust creates an external commitment that makes it harder to retreat. Accountability partners can provide encouragement, guidance, and perspective when fear becomes overwhelming. Sometimes, simply knowing that someone else is watching your progress is enough to push you forward when your inner doubts try to hold you back. Courage is not always a solitary effort. It is strengthened through connection and support. It is important to embrace discomfort as part of the process. Fear often produces physical and emotional sensations, such as increased heart rate, tension, or nervousness. Instead of resisting these sensations, acknowledge them and continue moving forward. Discomfort is a sign that you are challenging yourself, not a signal to retreat. By tolerating temporary unease, you expand your limits and grow more resilient. Each time you act despite fear, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than the emotions that arise in the moment. Reflection enhances the power of facing fear. After confronting a challenge, take time to review what you learned about yourself, your abilities, and your response to adversity. Reflection turns experiences into wisdom, helping you recognize patterns and strengthen strategies for the future. Each successful confrontation of fear reinforces the belief that you can handle more than you imagined. This cumulative growth builds confidence, resilience, and a sense of empowerment that extends into every area of life. Facing fear also deepens self-trust. When you consistently take action despite discomfort, you cultivate a belief in your own capabilities. You no longer need to rely solely on external validation or reassurance. Your actions become proof of your strength, and that internal trust fuels further growth. Courage and self-trust are mutually reinforcing. Each step forward makes the next one easier, creating a cycle of empowerment. Some fears may linger for longer than others, but persistence is essential. Repeatedly confronting fear, even in small ways, chips away at its power. Avoidance may provide temporary relief, but the fear will remain and continue to shape your decisions. Persistent action is the only way to rewrite the influence fear has on your life. Every time you choose action over avoidance, you expand your limits, increase your confidence, and grow closer to the person you are capable of becoming. Finally, embracing fear opens the door to opportunity. What lies on the other side of fear is often growth, achievement, and fulfillment that could not have been reached without taking the initial step. Fear signals where your potential is waiting to be unlocked. By facing it with courage, you claim more control over your life and step into a future defined by possibility rather than limitation. Every courageous choice compounds, reinforcing the truth that your limits are expandable and your capacity for success is greater than you believed. Chapter 13. Speak to yourself with kindness to build confidence. The way you speak to yourself shapes every aspect of your life. Your inner dialogue influences your confidence, your decisions, and even how you respond to challenges. If you are harsh with yourself, constantly criticizing or doubting your abilities, you create barriers to growth. Negative self-talk erodes motivation and instills fear that keeps you from taking meaningful action. On the other hand, speaking to yourself with kindness builds a foundation of self-respect and resilience that allows you to navigate life with strength and clarity. Kindness in your thoughts is not about being indulgent or avoiding accountability. It is about choosing language that empowers rather than diminishes. Start by paying attention to your inner voice. Notice the words you use when you make a mistake, when you face a setback, or when you evaluate your progress. Many people repeat critical statements unconsciously, like, "I'm not good enough," or "I always fail." These phrases, though familiar, are damaging. Awareness is the first step, because you cannot change what you do not recognize. By observing your thoughts without judgment, you create the opportunity to intervene and replace negativity with constructive language. Next, actively replace harmful statements with supportive ones. This doesn't mean pretending problems don't exist. Instead, frame your thoughts in a way that acknowledges reality while encouraging growth. For example, rather than saying, "I can't do this," say, "I am learning, and each step brings me closer to success." Instead of "I always mess up," say, "I can correct this and improve for next time." These subtle shifts may feel awkward at first, but repetition rewires your mind over time. The more consistently you speak with kindness, the more naturally it becomes a habit, and the more confidence grows. Daily affirmation exercises can reinforce positive self-talk. Writing down encouraging statements or reading them aloud in the morning sets a tone for the day. Affirmations are not magical phrases. They are deliberate choices to direct your mind toward belief in your abilities. For instance, saying "I am capable of handling challenges" or "I deserve success and happiness" reminds your brain to focus on competence and possibility. Repeating affirmations is an exercise in consistency that strengthens mental resilience. It is also helpful to treat yourself as you would a trusted friend. Consider how you would respond to someone you care about if they were struggling. You would likely offer encouragement, perspective, and patience rather than harsh criticism. Extend the same courtesy to yourself. Talking to yourself with compassion is about creating a supportive internal environment. This internal support reduces fear of failure, promotes experimentation, and encourages continuous learning without the weight of self-judgment. Building kindness in self-talk requires conscious effort during setbacks. When you encounter failure, pause to examine your thoughts. Instead of defaulting to blame, ask yourself what lessons are available and how you can improve. Replace self-criticism with curiosity and constructive guidance. This practice turns mistakes into opportunities rather than sources of shame. Over time, responding with kindness strengthens your ability to handle adversity and prevents discouragement from halting progress. Another way to cultivate self-kindness is to focus on gratitude for your own efforts. Acknowledge the work you put into your goals, even if outcomes are not yet visible. Recognizing persistence, courage, and daily effort reinforces the belief that you are capable and deserving. When you regularly celebrate your actions instead of only your achievements, you nurture self-confidence and create a positive feedback loop that motivates consistent progress. Physical cues can reinforce kind self-talk. Notice how posture, tone of voice, and even facial expressions impact your inner dialogue. Standing tall, breathing deeply, and speaking affirming words aloud can enhance the internal effect. The body and mind are connected, and supportive physical habits amplify the impact of verbal encouragement. Simple practices like smiling when reflecting on progress or placing a hand on your heart while affirming your worth can reinforce the sense of self-compassion. Self-kindness also means setting boundaries with internal criticism. When negative thoughts arise, consciously choose to redirect attention to solutions rather than problems. For instance, replace "I am terrible at this" with "I will take the next step to improve." This redirection trains your mind to focus on growth rather than blame. Over time, your default response to challenges becomes constructive, increasing confidence and reducing mental fatigue caused by repeated self-attack. It is important to pair kind self-talk with action. Encouragement alone is not enough. It must be coupled with deliberate effort to strengthen belief in your capabilities. When you affirm that you are capable, follow through with steps that reflect that confidence. Completing tasks, learning new skills, and facing challenges confirm internally what you are telling yourself externally. Action reinforces words, and words reinforce action. This combination builds a durable sense of competence and self-trust. Remember that building confidence through kindness is a gradual process. It requires patience, consistency, and repeated practice. There will be days when self-doubt resurfaces, but responding with renewed compassion keeps the cycle moving forward. Each time you consciously replace criticism with supportive language, you reinforce a mindset that strengthens resilience, focus, and courage. Over time, these small interventions compound into a profound shift in how you view yourself and approach life. Kind self-talk also enhances relationships. When you trust and respect yourself, you are less likely to seek validation externally or react defensively. Confidence rooted in self-kindness fosters authenticity, allowing you to engage with others from a place of strength rather than fear. You begin to attract people who respect your boundaries and support your growth, creating a positive environment that further reinforces internal confidence. Speaking to yourself with kindness is not a one-time effort. It is a daily practice. It involves awareness, deliberate language, reflection, and consistent reinforcement. It transforms your inner dialogue from a source of limitation into a tool for empowerment. Each moment you choose to encourage yourself instead of criticize yourself is a step toward building unshakable confidence. By cultivating this habit, you strengthen resilience, embrace challenges, and develop the courage to pursue your highest potential. Chapter 14. Focus on progress, not perfection. To keep momentum alive. Perfection is often the enemy of progress, and waiting for flawless conditions or flawless execution keeps many people from moving forward. Life does not reward perfection, it rewards action, persistence, and consistency. Progress, no matter how small, compounds over time and leads to meaningful change. Focusing solely on perfect outcomes creates fear, procrastination, and self-doubt. Every step forward, even if imperfect, builds momentum and reinforces the belief that growth is possible. When you prioritize progress, you maintain energy and motivation because you recognize that improvement is a journey rather than a one-time achievement. Start by redefining success in terms of movement instead of flawlessness. Completing a task, learning a new skill, or taking initiative, even with mistakes, represents progress. By measuring achievement through incremental steps, you remove the paralyzing pressure of needing to be perfect from the start. Progress-oriented thinking allows you to celebrate small wins, which fuels further action. Each forward motion, however minor, proves that effort yields results and builds the confidence necessary to tackle larger challenges. Breaking goals into smaller, manageable tasks is critical for sustaining momentum. When a project or ambition feels overwhelming, it's easy to delay action while waiting for the perfect time. Dividing work into clear steps allows you to focus on achieving one small outcome at a time. Completing these smaller tasks creates a rhythm of accomplishment that accumulates into significant progress. Momentum is built not by grand gestures alone, but by consistent, incremental effort applied daily. Adjusting your expectations is also essential. Expecting perfection sets an impossible standard that breeds frustration and disappointment. By shifting your focus to improvement, learning and steady movement, you give yourself permission to act without fear of failure. Each attempt becomes a chance to gather feedback, refine your approach, and increase competence. Progress-oriented thinking embraces imperfection as a natural part of growth, rather than a flaw to be avoided. Tracking your progress reinforces this mindset. Recording small steps, achievements, and lessons learned provides a visual representation of how far you have come. It is easy to underestimate cumulative effort, but documentation allows you to see the steady increase in skill, knowledge, or results over time. Even when outcomes are not yet ideal, acknowledging the effort keeps motivation high and reinforces the principle that continuous action is more valuable than waiting for perfection. Learning to embrace mistakes is crucial. Errors are not signs of inadequacy, they are data points that inform better decisions and strategies. Each mistake contains insight that brings you closer to improvement. By accepting that errors are part of the process, you reduce fear and hesitation, allowing consistent action. Progress is rarely linear, and resilience is built by navigating setbacks while maintaining commitment to growth. Focus on effort and consistency rather than comparison with others. Progress is personal, and measuring yourself against someone else's achievements can create unnecessary pressure. Instead, evaluate growth relative to your past self. Small improvements, when compounded, create significant results over time. Each day you push forward, regardless of external benchmarks, you strengthen your skills, knowledge, and confidence. Maintaining momentum requires a balance between action and reflection. Take time to review what is working, what is slowing you down, and what can be improved. Reflection enhances awareness and allows you to adjust methods without losing speed. This cycle of action and review ensures continuous forward motion. Momentum is sustained when you actively participate in learning from experience, rather than remaining static in frustration over imperfection. Mindset plays a critical role in progress. Celebrate effort and persistence, rather than focusing solely on outcomes. Positive reinforcement for incremental steps strengthens commitment and encourages repeated action. When your focus is on progress, small victories energize you, while setbacks are reframed as opportunities to learn and adjust. This perspective creates resilience and fosters a proactive approach to growth. Visualization of progress reinforces motivation. Regularly reviewing what you have accomplished reminds you that movement toward your goals is happening. Seeing evidence of improvement, even in small measures, inspires continued effort and builds confidence. When you acknowledge how far you have come, it is easier to maintain the drive needed to continue, even when results are slower than anticipated. Action must take precedence over perfection. Waiting for flawless execution delays opportunity, growth, and learning. By taking imperfect steps, You gain practical experience, build competence, and cultivate problem-solving skills. Action creates data, feedback, and momentum that cannot be achieved through contemplation alone. Progress-oriented individuals understand that the first step, no matter how imperfect, is more valuable than hesitation. Time management also supports focus on progress. Allocate specific periods to work toward goals rather than waiting for ideal conditions. Consistent effort, even in small increments, leads to cumulative gains. Prioritizing action over perfection ensures that effort is directed toward movement rather than over-analysis. Each block of intentional activity reinforces habit, skill, and achievement. External pressures and distractions can derail momentum if perfection is the priority. Focusing on measurable progress allows you to ignore irrelevant noise and maintain attention on what truly matters. By concentrating on actionable steps rather than flawless outcomes, you reduce stress, preserve energy, and keep moving forward steadily. This focus makes the process sustainable and growth inevitable. Mentorship and guidance can accelerate progress by offering perspective and feedback. Seek advice and input from those who have navigated similar challenges. Use their experience as a guide rather than a standard of perfection. Learning from others can help identify practical actions that move you forward, avoiding wasted effort in pursuit of unattainable ideals. Progress is enhanced when informed by experience and insight. Tracking emotional and mental growth is as important as measuring tangible outcomes. Recognize improvements in resilience, discipline, and confidence. Growth is multidimensional, and acknowledging psychological progress reinforces motivation and strengthens perseverance. By celebrating intangible progress alongside tangible achievements, you maintain a holistic perspective that encourages continual action. Remind yourself that progress builds habits. Each small step, repeated consistently, forms routines that carry momentum forward automatically. Habits reduce reliance on willpower alone and create structural support for achieving goals. Focusing on incremental improvement ensures that routines evolve naturally, creating a sustainable path toward success. The philosophy of prioritizing progress over perfection fosters patience. Understanding that meaningful change requires time and repetition reduces frustration and burnout. Patience allows you to maintain consistent effort without being discouraged by temporary setbacks or slower than expected outcomes. Momentum thrives in environments where patience, action, and measurement are intertwined. Finally, internalize the principle that progress is cumulative. Each day's effort, no matter how small, adds to a foundation of growth that compounds over time. Momentum becomes unstoppable when you consistently act, review, adjust, and continue. By focusing on progress rather than perfection, you maintain energy, strengthen resilience, and create a trajectory of improvement that sustains long-term achievement and personal fulfillment. Chapter 15. Celebrate small achievements to strengthen self-respect daily. Acknowledging and celebrating small achievements is a critical practice for building self-respect and reinforcing positive momentum in your life. Many people overlook the power of small victories because they focus solely on large goals, thinking that only major accomplishments deserve recognition. This mindset often leads to frustration and feelings of inadequacy when progress seems slow. However, celebrating incremental successes creates a sense of accomplishment that fuels motivation, strengthens confidence, and develops a deep respect for your own effort. Each small win is a building block that reinforces the belief in your capability and commitment to growth. The first step is to define what constitutes a small achievement in your life. Not every action feels monumental, but completion of daily tasks, consistent effort toward goals, or maintaining positive habits are all meaningful accomplishments. For example, finishing a difficult project, exercising consistently, waking up early to focus on your priorities, or practicing a new skill counts as small achievements. Recognizing these steps ensures that no progress is ignored and helps you maintain a steady pace toward larger objectives. Consistency is key in turning recognition into a habit. Make it a practice to reflect daily on what you accomplished, no matter how minor it may seem. Take a moment to write down or mentally note your successes and acknowledge your effort. When you consistently recognize achievements, your mind starts to associate effort with reward, reinforcing positive behavior. This process strengthens your self-respect because it reminds you that your actions have value and meaning. Celebrating small wins also builds momentum. Each acknowledgement reinforces motivation and encourages continued effort. When you see evidence of your progress, even in small increments, it becomes easier to keep pushing forward. Momentum grows from repeated acknowledgement of achievement, creating a cycle where success feeds effort and effort produces more success. This compounding effect accelerates growth and helps maintain focus on long-term goals. Self-reflection amplifies the impact of celebrating small achievements. Take time to consider what each accomplishment reveals about your abilities, discipline, and character. Reflecting on these successes allows you to internalize the skills and strengths demonstrated through your effort. This reflection turns everyday actions into lessons that reinforce personal growth, resilience, and self-trust. Over time, this practice strengthens the foundation of your self-respect, because you are consistently recognizing your own competence and progress. Celebration does not require external validation. While compliments and encouragement from others are valuable, the most sustainable source of self-respect comes from your own recognition of effort. Internal acknowledgement creates autonomy and confidence that is independent of outside approval. By validating your own achievements, you develop a sense of worth and self-reliance that sustains motivation even when external support is limited. Pairing celebration with intention enhances its effectiveness. Acknowledge achievements in a way that reinforces future effort. For instance, after completing a task, take a moment to appreciate your focus, persistence, or creativity, and then set your sights on the next step. This creates a forward-looking mindset that celebrates past effort while preparing for continued growth. Recognizing achievements with intention helps prevent complacency and ensures that celebration fuels further progress. Physical acts of celebration can also strengthen the habit. Simple gestures, such as writing a note of acknowledgement, sharing a small victory with a trusted person, or taking a few moments to reflect on your effort, can make the recognition feel tangible. Engaging your senses and consciously marking achievements reinforces the significance of the accomplishment and helps encode it in your memory. This practice enhances confidence and increases the likelihood of repeating positive behaviors. Another key aspect is balancing acknowledgement with humility. Celebrating small wins is not about ego or comparison with others. It is about appreciating your personal effort and commitment. By focusing on your own progress, you maintain perspective and foster a growth-oriented mindset. This approach prevents external benchmarks from undermining self-respect and keeps attention on what truly matters: consistent action and personal development. Tracking achievements over time provides additional insight and reinforcement. Maintaining a record of completed tasks, milestones, or habits allows you to visualize progress and recognize patterns of success. Reviewing this history during challenging times reminds you of your ability to overcome obstacles and reinforces belief in your capacity to succeed. Tracking amplifies the value of small wins by showing cumulative impact, turning minor accomplishments into evidence of consistent growth. Celebrating small achievements also encourages resilience. Life often presents setbacks and obstacles, and maintaining motivation can be challenging. Recognizing even minor successes helps offset discouragement and builds emotional strength. Each acknowledgement becomes a reminder of your capability to act, persevere, and overcome difficulties, creating a resilient mindset that sustains long-term growth and self-respect. Gratitude plays a complementary role in this process. Appreciating your effort, progress, and learning fosters a positive internal environment. When you combine celebration with gratitude, you reinforce both achievement and emotional well-being. This dual focus enhances self-respect, supports mental clarity, and encourages continued commitment to personal goals. Recognizing your contribution to your own life is a form of honoring your journey and creating a sustainable foundation for growth. Celebration can also strengthen accountability. When you consistently acknowledge your accomplishments, you create a pattern of awareness that motivates further action. Recognizing effort makes it easier to maintain habits and follow through on commitments. Accountability reinforces self-discipline and ensures that progress is intentional rather than accidental. Each small victory contributes to building a life of purposeful action. The habit of celebrating small wins encourages experimentation and risk-taking. When you acknowledge effort, even if outcomes are imperfect, you remove the fear of failure. This approach allows you to try new strategies, explore opportunities, and expand your capabilities without being paralyzed by perfectionism. Each attempt, combined with recognition of effort, strengthens confidence and fosters a mindset oriented toward growth rather than fear. Self-respect is reinforced by consistency in celebrating progress. Repeated acknowledgement of achievement, no matter how minor, teaches your mind to value effort and persistence. Over time, this practice builds an internal culture of respect and motivation that sustains lifelong personal development. Self-respect rooted in consistent recognition of achievement is resilient, stable, and empowering. Celebration also influences how you perceive challenges. When small victories are recognized, difficulties become opportunities to demonstrate perseverance rather than sources of discouragement. You begin to approach obstacles with a proactive mindset, confident in your ability to handle adversity. Each acknowledgement of success strengthens belief in your own competence and capacity to grow. Finally, celebrating small achievements daily creates a mindset of continuous growth. By consistently recognizing effort, progress, and learning, you build an internal environment that nurtures self-respect, confidence, and resilience. Daily acknowledgement turns ordinary actions into stepping stones toward meaningful transformation. The habit of celebrating success empowers you to maintain momentum, face challenges, and continue expanding your potential. By valuing every small accomplishment, you reinforce your worth and create a life defined by deliberate, consistent, and confident growth. Chapter 16. Learn new skills consistently to expand your opportunities. Learning new skills consistently is one of the most effective ways to expand your opportunities and increase your personal and professional potential. Growth in life depends on your willingness to acquire new abilities, adapt to change, and apply what you learn in practical ways. Skill development is not limited to formal education or specialized training. It includes everyday abilities, emotional intelligence, problem-solving, communication, and technical knowledge that improve how you navigate challenges. Consistent learning ensures that you remain competitive, capable, and prepared for opportunities that would otherwise be unavailable. Start by identifying the skills most relevant to your goals. Consider the areas where improvement would have the greatest impact on your life, career, or personal growth. Prioritize learning that aligns with both short-term needs and long-term aspirations. This focus ensures that your effort is directed efficiently, providing maximum return on your time and energy. Targeting the right skills allows you to make meaningful progress, rather than spreading yourself thin with unrelated pursuits. Break learning into manageable steps to avoid feeling overwhelmed. Mastery does not occur overnight, and attempting too much at once can lead to frustration and burnout. Begin with fundamental concepts, gradually adding complexity as your confidence and competence grow. Small, consistent practice sessions are more effective than sporadic, intensive efforts because repetition reinforces retention and builds confidence over time. Each incremental improvement lays the foundation for higher-level mastery. Practice actively rather than passively consuming information. Reading, watching tutorials, or listening to lectures is useful, but applying knowledge solidifies learning. Engage in exercises, projects, or real-world challenges that require you to use newly acquired skills. Application ensures understanding, builds experience, and creates tangible results that demonstrate your growing competence. Skills that remain theoretical do not generate opportunities. Actionable practice turns learning into power. Set measurable goals for skill acquisition. Determine what proficiency looks like and establish benchmarks to track your progress. This approach provides clarity, maintains motivation, and allows you to recognize improvement along the way. Measurable milestones create a sense of accomplishment that fuels further learning, reinforces discipline, and ensures that effort translates into meaningful growth. Seek feedback to accelerate development. Constructive feedback from mentors, peers, or instructors highlights strengths and identifies areas for improvement. Learning in isolation limits growth because you may overlook blind spots or inefficient methods. Embracing feedback allows you to adjust your approach, refine techniques, and build skills more effectively. A willingness to learn from others demonstrates humility and openness, both of which are critical for sustained personal growth. Consistency is more important than intensity. Learning a little every day creates momentum, reinforces habits, and ensures that skills are retained over time. Sporadic bursts of effort often fail to create lasting change because knowledge fades without reinforcement. By making skill development a regular part of your routine, you integrate growth into daily life, creating a cumulative effect that compounds into significant capability over time. Diversify your skills to increase adaptability. Focusing solely on one area limits potential opportunities, whereas acquiring a range of abilities allows you to respond to varied challenges. Broad skill sets expand your problem-solving capacity, enhance creativity, and open doors in multiple contexts. Diversification does not mean neglecting depth. It means building complementary competencies that increase flexibility and value. Adopt a mindset of lifelong learning. Viewing skill development as an ongoing journey rather than a finite task encourages continuous curiosity and resilience. Industries evolve, technologies advance, and personal circumstances change. A commitment to learning ensures that you remain relevant and capable throughout life. Lifelong learning transforms challenges into opportunities because you are always prepared to adapt and grow. Take advantage of available resources. Books, online courses, workshops, mentorship, and practical experience all provide avenues for learning. Combining multiple resources accelerates understanding and reinforces application. Investing time and effort into quality resources amplifies results and ensures that your skill building is efficient, structured, and impactful. Knowledge paired with application generates both confidence and tangible opportunities. Embrace mistakes as part of the learning process. Developing new skills inevitably involves trial and error. Each mistake provides insight, highlights weaknesses, and offers a chance to improve. By reframing errors as information rather than failure, you maintain momentum and deepen understanding. Resilience in the face of setbacks is critical because skill mastery requires perseverance and the ability to adapt strategies based on experience. Apply skills strategically to create real-world results. Knowledge alone is insufficient. You must leverage your abilities in meaningful ways. Seek projects, opportunities, or challenges where you can implement what you have learned. Each application not only reinforces your proficiency, but also demonstrates value to others. Effective application increases visibility, enhances credibility, and positions you for new opportunities. Document progress to maintain motivation and clarity. Keeping track of skills acquired, milestones reached, and areas of improvement provides evidence of growth and identifies where focus is needed next. Reviewing progress strengthens confidence, highlights achievements, and guides future learning priorities. A record of accomplishment also serves as a resource to demonstrate competence in professional or personal contexts. Networking enhances the impact of skill development. Surrounding yourself with people who are skilled, motivated, and supportive exposes you to new ideas, challenges, and perspectives. Learning from others accelerates growth and provides opportunities to practice skills in collaborative settings. Interactions with skilled individuals create inspiration and accountability, reinforcing both consistency and quality in your learning efforts. Balance skill acquisition with depth. While learning broadly is important, mastery in key areas ensures that you are highly competent where it matters most. Depth allows you to contribute meaningfully, solve complex problems, and build confidence in your abilities. Combining depth with breadth creates a unique value proposition that enhances your opportunities and distinguishes you in competitive environments. Reflect regularly on the skills you have learned and their impact. Consider how new abilities have influenced your decision-making, confidence, and opportunities. Reflection consolidates knowledge, identifies gaps, and encourages adaptation. Awareness of growth reinforces the motivation to continue learning and ensures that skills are not only acquired, but also integrated into your daily life and actions. Challenge yourself continuously to step outside comfort zones. Skill development is most powerful when it involves stretching beyond what you already know, tackling more difficult tasks, exploring unfamiliar topics, and experimenting with different approaches builds resilience and competence. Growth occurs at the edge of comfort, and consistent learning keeps you engaged with challenges that expand your potential. Celebrate achievements in skill development to maintain enthusiasm. Acknowledge mastery of new abilities and improvements over time. Recognition reinforces effort, boosts confidence, and motivates continued growth. Celebrating progress provides positive reinforcement that strengthens commitment to learning and ensures that skill building becomes a sustainable lifelong practice. Finally, understand that consistent skill acquisition creates freedom and opportunity. Each new ability increases flexibility, adaptability, and self-reliance. Skills multiply options, create pathways to new experiences, and enhance your capacity to achieve goals. By committing to consistent learning, you position yourself to navigate life with confidence, take advantage of opportunities, and expand your personal and professional horizons in ways that would not have been possible without deliberate effort and persistence. Chapter 17. Build financial discipline to create freedom and stability. Building financial discipline is one of the most important steps toward creating freedom and stability in life. Money is not just a tool for survival. It is a resource that can provide opportunities, security, and the ability to focus on growth without constant stress. Developing discipline with money requires consistent attention, deliberate choices, and a mindset oriented toward long-term stability rather than instant gratification. Discipline in finances allows you to control your future, reduce anxiety, and make decisions that align with your goals and values. Start by understanding your current financial situation clearly. Know exactly how much you earn, spend, save, and invest each month. Awareness is the foundation of discipline because you cannot manage what you do not measure. Track your income and expenses accurately, separating necessary spending from discretionary or impulsive purchases. This clarity allows you to make informed choices and identify areas where improvements can create meaningful impact. Create a realistic budget that prioritizes essentials, savings, and investments. A budget is not a restriction, it is a plan for using resources efficiently and purposefully. Allocate a portion of your income to savings and emergency funds before considering discretionary spending. This approach ensures that financial growth and stability are treated as non-negotiable priorities rather than optional goals. A disciplined budget protects you from overspending, debt accumulation, and financial stress. Adopt the habit of saving consistently, regardless of income level. Even small regular contributions accumulate over time and provide a foundation of security. Automate savings to make the process effortless and ensure consistency. Consistent saving demonstrates discipline and gradually builds a financial cushion that enables risk-taking, investment, and future planning without anxiety. Control impulsive spending by distinguishing between wants and needs. Before making a purchase, pause to evaluate whether it aligns with your priorities and long-term goals. Impulse buying undermines discipline and erodes the ability to allocate funds effectively. Deliberate evaluation of expenses encourages intentional spending and reinforces the habit of conscious financial decision-making. Set specific financial goals to guide your decisions. Goals provide direction and motivation, transforming abstract aspirations into actionable targets. Identify short-term objectives, like paying off debt, medium-term goals, such as building an emergency fund, and long-term ambitions, including investment growth or retirement planning. Goals create purpose for financial discipline and provide measurable milestones to track progress. Eliminate or reduce debt strategically. Debt can erode financial freedom if unmanaged, creating pressure that limits opportunities. Focus on paying off high-interest obligations first, while maintaining minimum payments on other debts. A disciplined approach to debt management strengthens your financial position, reduces stress, and frees resources for growth and investment. Invest wisely to grow your resources over time. Savings alone provide security, but investments generate opportunities for wealth expansion and financial freedom. Educate yourself about different investment options, understand risk levels, and create a plan that aligns with your goals and risk tolerance. Consistent, disciplined investing ensures long-term financial stability and positions you to take advantage of opportunities when they arise. Monitor your spending and adjust strategies regularly. Discipline is not static. It requires ongoing evaluation and refinement. Review budgets, assess progress toward goals, and adjust allocations as circumstances change. Continuous monitoring ensures that financial decisions remain aligned with your objectives and prevents slipping into habits that undermine stability. Develop self-control to resist external pressures that encourage unnecessary spending. Social expectations, advertising, and peer influence can prompt decisions that conflict with your financial goals. Discipline requires saying no to impulses, prioritizing needs over wants, and focusing on long-term benefits. Strengthening self-control reinforces consistent behaviors that create financial freedom over time. Build multiple streams of income to enhance security and opportunity. Relying on a single source of income increases vulnerability, whereas diversification strengthens financial resilience. Explore ways to monetize skills, create passive income, or invest in ventures that generate additional revenue. Financial discipline includes planning for multiple revenue streams and managing them strategically to support growth and stability. Maintain an emergency fund to protect against unforeseen events. Unexpected expenses can derail financial plans if not accounted for. Discipline requires setting aside resources for emergencies so that temporary setbacks do not compromise long-term objectives. A well-funded emergency account provides peace of mind and ensures that financial discipline remains intact under stress. Practice patience and delay gratification. Building financial security and freedom is a long-term process that requires consistent action over time. Avoid seeking immediate rewards that compromise future stability. Delaying gratification reinforces discipline, strengthens decision-making, and allows your resources to compound and grow steadily. Patience is an essential component of sustainable financial freedom. Educate yourself continuously about personal finance. Knowledge empowers discipline because it allows informed decisions and reduces susceptibility to mistakes or exploitation. Read books, attend workshops, follow experts, and apply principles that align with your goals. Understanding concepts like budgeting, investment, taxation, and risk management enhances your ability to act wisely and consistently. Use tools and systems to maintain organization and accountability. Financial software, spreadsheets, or apps help track spending, savings, and investments. Systems reduce the cognitive burden of managing finances and allow you to focus on decision-making rather than record-keeping. Organized tracking reinforces discipline and ensures clarity about your financial position at all times. Celebrate milestones to reinforce positive behavior. Achieving debt reduction, meeting savings targets, or reaching investment goals deserves acknowledgement. Recognition strengthens motivation, reinforces discipline, and encourages continued commitment to long-term objectives. Celebrating progress helps maintain momentum without encouraging excess or complacency. Surround yourself with financially responsible influencers. Relationships impact behavior, and interacting with disciplined individuals reinforces habits of accountability, saving, and smart decision-making. Supportive networks provide guidance, advice, and encouragement that strengthen your commitment to financial growth. Plan for the future by defining long-term objectives. Consider retirement, major purchases, education, or other life goals that require financial preparation. Discipline involves aligning daily decisions with these objectives, ensuring that each choice contributes to future stability rather than immediate gratification. Clear goals create direction and purpose for financial actions. Maintain integrity and honesty in all financial matters. Discipline is not only about numbers but also about character. Avoid shortcuts, unethical practices, or mismanagement that compromise trust or long-term success. Integrity ensures that financial discipline is sustainable, respected, and aligned with personal values. Finally, understand that financial discipline is the bridge to freedom. It is not about restriction. It is about creating opportunities, security, and the ability to live life according to your terms. By making intentional choices, prioritizing long-term goals, and committing to consistent practices, you develop stability and freedom that allow you to pursue growth, personal development, and meaningful achievements without being constrained by financial anxiety. Discipline transforms resources into power, decisions into freedom, and effort into lasting security. Chapter 18. Reflect daily on lessons that shape your growth. Reflecting daily on lessons learned is one of the most powerful practices for personal growth and long-term success. Each day presents experiences, challenges, and interactions that contain insights about your behavior, decisions, and mindset. Taking the time to consciously review these moments allows you to extract wisdom, identify patterns, and make adjustments that improve your future choices. Reflection transforms ordinary experiences into meaningful opportunities for learning and growth, turning mistakes into guidance and successes into reinforcement of effective behaviors. Start by setting aside a dedicated time each day for reflection. Even 10 to 15 minutes of focused thought can produce significant insights when done consistently. Choose a quiet environment where you can review your day without distraction. Use this time to consider what went well, what could have been handled differently, and what lessons can be applied moving forward. Regular reflection ensures that learning becomes habitual rather than incidental, creating a continuous cycle of improvement. Focus first on recognizing achievements and effective decisions. Identify moments where you demonstrated discipline, courage, patience, or creativity. Acknowledging successes reinforces positive behavior and builds confidence. Reflection is not solely about analyzing failures. It is equally about appreciating progress and understanding why certain actions produced favorable outcomes. Recognizing what works empowers you to repeat those behaviors and integrate them into your routines. Equally important is reviewing areas for improvement. Honest evaluation of mistakes, missed opportunities, and ineffective responses allows for adjustment and growth. Consider not only the immediate outcome, but also the underlying cause of each challenge. Did you react impulsively? Did you neglect preparation? Were there patterns of behavior that contributed to the result? Understanding these factors equips you to make informed changes that enhance future performance. Maintain a journal to capture your reflections. Writing down insights helps organize thoughts, makes patterns more visible, and creates a record of progress over time. Journaling allows you to return to previous reflections, notice long-term trends, and track how your growth evolves. Documentation also reinforces accountability because you can measure improvements and hold yourself responsible for implementing lessons learned. Use guiding questions to structure reflection. Ask what you accomplished today, what challenges arose, how you responded, and what you can do differently tomorrow. Consider emotional responses and mental patterns, as well as actions. Structured reflection ensures that each session is purposeful and comprehensive, preventing superficial reviews that fail to yield meaningful insights. Connect reflection to actionable steps. Identify at least one concrete action to apply the lessons you have discovered. Reflection is most effective when it translates into behavior change rather than remaining abstract. These actions could include adjusting daily routines, improving communication, practicing patience, or refining skills. Turning insight into action solidifies learning and produces measurable growth over time. Balance reflection with self-compassion. Honest evaluation does not mean harsh self-criticism. Approach your review with curiosity and understanding, recognizing that mistakes are natural and necessary for growth. Self-compassion enhances resilience, reduces discouragement, and fosters a positive mindset that encourages continued effort and learning. By treating reflection as a supportive tool rather than a source of punishment, you create a sustainable habit that strengthens growth and self-respect. Analyze patterns across multiple days or weeks. Is there recurring behavior that limits progress or contributes to success? Are there specific triggers that influence decision-making or emotional responses? Identifying trends allows you to address systemic challenges, reinforce positive habits, and align actions with long-term goals. Patterns reveal deeper insights than isolated events, enabling strategic adjustments that accelerate personal development. Incorporate feedback from others into daily reflection. Consider advice, observations, or critiques received throughout the day. How did you respond to feedback? What lessons can you internalize and apply to enhance performance and relationships? Reflection combined with external perspectives provides a more comprehensive understanding of growth areas and opportunities for improvement. Evaluate alignment with long-term goals. Daily reflection is most valuable when it connects to broader objectives. Ask whether actions and decisions today advanced your vision for the future. Are you consistent with your values and priorities? Reflection ensures that short-term behaviors reinforce long-term aspirations, creating coherence between daily actions and ultimate outcomes. Use reflection to strengthen problem-solving skills. Review situations where challenges arose and consider alternative strategies that could have produced better results. Imagining different approaches enhances creativity, foresight, and adaptability. Over time, this practice develops a mindset that anticipates obstacles, identifies solutions quickly, and responds effectively to unexpected events. Incorporate gratitude into reflection. Recognize the lessons and experiences that provide growth, even in difficult situations. Appreciation for learning opportunities fosters a positive mindset, reduces negativity, and strengthens resilience. By acknowledging the value in every experience, you reinforce the perspective that life continually offers chances to improve and expand capabilities. Focus on incremental improvements rather than perfection. Reflection is about identifying manageable steps for growth, not striving for immediate mastery. Break down lessons into actionable behaviors that can be implemented daily. Small, consistent adjustments compound over time, producing substantial personal development and reinforcing the belief that progress is achievable through disciplined reflection. Develop mental clarity and awareness through reflective practices. Paying attention to thoughts, reactions, and emotions increases self-understanding and emotional intelligence. This heightened awareness allows for more deliberate decision-making and improves relationships with others. Reflection creates a deeper connection with your inner motivations and patterns, fostering intentional living and strategic growth. Reinforce accountability through reflection. By consistently reviewing actions and lessons learned, you maintain responsibility for your personal and professional development. Reflection prevents repetition of ineffective behaviors and ensures that learning is applied rather than ignored. Accountability enhances self-discipline and accelerates the journey toward meaningful goals. Incorporate reflection into both successes and setbacks. Learning from achievements is as valuable as learning from mistakes. Understanding what contributed to success allows you to replicate effective behaviors, while analyzing setbacks provides insight into improvement opportunities. A balanced perspective encourages steady growth and prevents overconfidence or discouragement. Combine reflection with visualization for enhanced motivation. Imagine how applying lessons learned will impact your goals, relationships, and personal growth. Visualization strengthens commitment, clarifies the benefits of reflection, and encourages consistent application of insights. Seeing the potential impact reinforces the value of daily review and keeps you focused on continuous improvement. Finally, recognize that reflection is a lifelong practice. Growth does not occur in isolated bursts. It is the result of consistent attention, analysis, and adjustment. By dedicating time each day to consider lessons, apply insights, and plan for improvement, you create a habit that perpetually shapes your mindset, behaviors, and results. Daily reflection strengthens resilience, deepens self-awareness, and transforms ordinary experiences into a continuous path of meaningful personal development. Chapter 19. Set clear boundaries that honor your values and needs. Setting clear boundaries is a fundamental practice for maintaining personal integrity, protecting your energy, and honoring both your values and needs. Boundaries define what you are willing to accept in relationships, work, and daily interactions. They act as a guide for how others can treat you and a reminder for yourself of what is non-negotiable in your life. Establishing boundaries is not about controlling others, it is about controlling your environment, choices, and responses so that your life aligns with your principles and long-term goals. Clear boundaries create space for focus, growth, and authentic living, while reducing stress, resentment, and distraction. Start by identifying your core values and priorities. Understanding what matters most to you allows you to set boundaries that reflect your principles. Consider areas of your life where you feel drained, overwhelmed, or disrespected. These situations often indicate where boundaries are weak or non-existent. By clarifying values first, you ensure that every boundary you establish is purposeful, rooted in self-respect, and aligned with your personal mission. Define what you need to feel safe, respected, and balanced. This includes emotional, physical, mental, and even digital boundaries. Determine the limits that prevent overextension, reduce stress, and maintain your well-being. For example, decide how much time you will dedicate to work, how you respond to requests from others, and how much emotional labor you are willing to provide. Clear definition of needs is essential because vague or undefined expectations are easily overlooked or violated. Communicate boundaries directly and assertively. Others cannot respect limits they do not know exist. Use clear, respectful language to express your expectations and limits. Avoid apologizing excessively or downplaying your needs, as this undermines the authority of your boundaries. Consistent communication ensures that relationships remain respectful and that your principles are understood and acknowledged. Practice saying no without guilt. Declining requests or invitations that conflict with your values or priorities is an essential part of boundary setting. Saying no does not make you selfish. It reinforces your commitment to your well-being and purpose. Learning to say no allows you to protect your time, energy, and emotional resources, creating space for activities and relationships that genuinely contribute to your growth. Reinforce boundaries consistently. Setting a boundary once is insufficient. You must maintain it through action and follow through. Inconsistency signals to others that your limits are flexible, which can lead to repeated violations. Upholding boundaries consistently demonstrates self-respect and trains others to honor your needs. This discipline strengthens your confidence and establishes a pattern of healthy interaction. Recognize that boundaries can be flexible in context, but firm in principle. Situations may require temporary adjustments, yet the underlying values should remain intact. For example, compromise can be appropriate when it does not violate your core needs or principles. Flexibility ensures relationships and responsibilities can coexist with personal integrity, while firmness preserves the clarity and authority of your limits. Protect your time by creating clear schedules and routines. Time boundaries are crucial for productivity, mental health, and balance. Decide when and how you engage in work, rest, and personal activities. Limit interruptions, set deadlines for communication, and allocate focused time for important tasks. Time boundaries reduce stress, increase efficiency, and ensure that your daily actions support your broader goals. Guard your emotional energy by limiting exposure to negativity. Identify people, situations, or behaviors that consistently drain you or create conflict. Decide which interactions are necessary and which can be minimized or eliminated. Emotional boundaries are essential for maintaining resilience, positivity, and the capacity to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Protecting your energy allows you to invest in relationships and activities that provide support, growth, and fulfillment. Establish boundaries in professional settings to prevent burnout and maintain effectiveness. Clearly define your workload, responsibilities, and acceptable communication patterns. Set limits on overtime, interruptions, and tasks outside your role. Professional boundaries support efficiency, create clarity in expectations, and prevent exploitation or overextension. They enable you to perform optimally while preserving personal health and balance. Recognize boundary violations early. Pay attention to feelings of discomfort, resentment, or frustration, as these often signal that limits are being crossed. Address violations promptly to prevent escalation and maintain clarity. Early intervention reinforces the importance of your boundaries and prevents patterns of disregard from forming. Addressing issues respectfully but firmly ensures that relationships remain healthy and mutually respectful. Use boundaries to create space for personal growth. Limiting distractions and prioritizing your needs allows you to focus on skill development, reflection, and goal achievement. Boundaries are not restrictions on life. They are tools to maximize your potential, ensure energy is used purposefully, and protect what matters most. Growth occurs when you are deliberate about where and how you invest your time and attention. Teach others to respect your boundaries through modeling behavior. Demonstrate self-respect by adhering to your own limits, communicating clearly, and taking necessary action when boundaries are challenged. Actions reinforce words, and consistency encourages respect from colleagues, friends, and family. Modeling appropriate boundaries also educates those around you on how to maintain healthy relationships with others. Understand that boundary setting may involve difficult conversations. Confrontation is often necessary to clarify limits and assert needs. Approach these conversations with calm, clarity, and assertiveness. Express your reasoning without anger, manipulation, or defensiveness. Direct communication fosters understanding and reduces misunderstandings, allowing relationships to remain functional and aligned with mutual respect. Revisit and adjust boundaries as circumstances evolve. Life changes, relationships develop, and responsibilities shift. Periodically review your limits to ensure they continue to reflect your values and needs. Flexibility and adaptation combined with steadfast adherence to core principles ensures that boundaries remain effective, relevant, and protective over time. Prioritize self-care as a boundary. Decide how much time and energy you dedicate to rest, recreation, and personal interests. Protecting these areas from intrusion ensures mental clarity, emotional stability, and sustained performance in all areas of life. Treating self-care as a non-negotiable boundary reinforces its importance and creates a foundation for long-term resilience and growth. Use boundaries to foster mutual respect in relationships. When limits are clear and maintained, interactions become healthier, communication improves, and trust is strengthened. Respect is reciprocal. By respecting your own boundaries, you encourage others to respect theirs. Boundaries create balance in relationships and reduce conflict, resentment, and ambiguity. Reflect regularly on the effectiveness of your boundaries. Consider whether they are helping you maintain focus, energy, and alignment with your values. Identify areas where reinforcement or adjustment is needed. Continuous reflection ensures that boundaries remain relevant and effective, supporting your ongoing personal development and well-being. Finally, understand that setting boundaries is an act of self-respect and empowerment. Clear limits allow you to live authentically, focus on meaningful priorities, and protect the energy required for growth and fulfillment. Boundaries do not isolate you from others. They create the space necessary for deeper, healthier, and more intentional connections. By defining, communicating, and upholding boundaries consistently, you honor your values, safeguard your needs, and lay the foundation for a life of stability, freedom, and purposeful action. Chapter 20. Keep moving forward even when results come slowly. Progress in life often feels slow, and results can be frustratingly delayed, yet the true power of personal growth lies in perseverance and consistent action. Success is rarely instantaneous, and meaningful transformation emerges from steady effort, repeated over time. Moving forward even when results are not immediately visible is a practice of discipline, patience, and trust in your process. Every step, no matter how small, contributes to cumulative growth, and the consistent application of effort gradually compounds into significant achievements that redefine your capabilities and your life. Begin by accepting that progress is rarely linear. Days of visible advancement may be followed by periods of apparent stagnation or setbacks. Understanding this reality prevents discouragement and allows you to maintain focus on long-term objectives. Life operates on cycles of effort and outcome, and recognizing that results take time cultivates resilience and steadiness. Trusting the process reinforces commitment, even when immediate feedback is absent, and ensures you remain active rather than passive during slow periods. Commit to consistent action, regardless of immediate rewards. Discipline and regularity are more valuable than bursts of intense effort, followed by inactivity. Daily routines, repeated practices, and steady pursuit of goals create momentum that eventually produces visible outcomes. Consistency signals to your mind and body that your intentions are serious, reinforcing habits that compound results over time. Even small actions, when performed reliably, accumulate into meaningful progress. Focus on controllable factors rather than external outcomes. You cannot always influence timing, recognition, or the behavior of others, but you can control your effort, mindset, and approach. Concentrating on what you can manage maintains a sense of agency and reduces frustration. By directing energy toward constructive, consistent actions, you increase the likelihood of achieving your desired results, while avoiding wasted emotional energy on things beyond your influence. Break large goals into manageable steps. Long-term objectives can feel overwhelming when progress is not immediately apparent. Dividing goals into smaller, measurable actions allows you to track incremental gains and maintain motivation. Each completed step provides tangible proof of advancement, reinforcing commitment and patience. This approach transforms seemingly slow progress into a series of achievable milestones that steadily build toward your ultimate outcome. Develop patience as an active practice. Waiting for results is not passive. It requires mindful attention to growth, discipline, and learning. Patience allows you to navigate setbacks without losing direction or confidence. Understanding that results are a product of time and effort reduces stress and encourages sustainable action. Cultivating patience strengthens resilience and prevents hasty decisions that could undermine long-term goals. Celebrate small wins along the way. Recognizing progress, even if minor, provides motivation and reinforces positive behaviors. Small victories demonstrate that effort produces tangible outcomes and highlight areas of improvement and strength. Celebrating achievements maintains morale, fuels perseverance, and reminds you that incremental progress is valuable and cumulative. Acknowledging each step builds confidence and keeps momentum alive despite slow visible results. Maintain a reflective mindset to evaluate your strategies. If results appear delayed, assess methods, approaches, and habits for improvement. Reflection does not replace action, but ensures that effort is directed intelligently. Identifying small adjustments enhances effectiveness and prevents stagnation. Continuous evaluation allows you to remain proactive, fine-tune your efforts, and increase the likelihood of achieving desired outcomes over time. Build resilience to handle challenges and discouragement. Slow results often trigger doubt, frustration, or the temptation to quit. Strengthening emotional resilience ensures you respond to delays with persistence rather than surrender. Resilience enables you to adapt, learn from obstacles, and maintain a steady commitment to your goals. Each challenge encountered and overcome reinforces determination and enhances your ability to sustain progress over time. Visualize long-term outcomes to maintain motivation, imagining the benefits, freedom, or growth that result from your consistent effort provides emotional fuel for persistence. Visualization strengthens focus, encourages patience, and helps you maintain clarity when immediate results are not apparent. Keeping your vision alive in your mind ensures that each step forward feels purposeful and aligned with your ultimate objectives. Avoid comparison with others as a measure of progress. Everyone's journey is unique, and comparing results can create unnecessary pressure or discouragement. Focus on your own trajectory, effort, and improvement. Progress is relative to your starting point and commitment, not the pace of others. Staying oriented toward personal benchmarks allows you to maintain momentum, trust your process, and value incremental growth. Embrace challenges as part of the growth process. Obstacles and delays are not indications of failure. They are opportunities to strengthen skills, increase adaptability, and refine strategies. Facing difficulties with determination enhances problem-solving abilities and fosters confidence in your capacity to overcome future challenges. Challenges transform perceived stagnation into meaningful preparation for the outcomes you are building toward. Strengthen self-discipline to sustain momentum during slow periods. Motivation alone is insufficient when results are delayed. Discipline ensures action continues regardless of emotional state or visible outcomes. Structured routines, accountability systems, and consistent habits maintain forward movement even when immediate gratification is absent. Discipline bridges the gap between intention and achievement, allowing you to persevere through accidents. Reinforce your purpose and reasons for pursuing goals. When results are slow, reconnecting with your underlying motivations provides clarity and drive. Understanding why you started and what you hope to achieve strengthens commitment. Purpose fuels persistence, and when you internalize your reasons, you are more likely to continue advancing despite temporary setbacks or delays. Focus on growth rather than solely outcomes. Progress is measured not only by external results, but by skill development, mindset expansion, and knowledge gained. Appreciating the internal transformation that occurs through consistent effort ensures that slow results are still valuable. Growth in competence, resilience, and self-awareness prepares you for larger achievements and lays a foundation for lasting success. Maintain a supportive environment to sustain effort. Surround yourself with individuals who encourage persistence, reinforce positive habits, and model perseverance. Social support reduces discouragement, provides guidance, and keeps momentum alive. Connection with others who understand the value of steady effort reinforces your commitment and provides a network of accountability and encouragement. Adjust expectations realistically without lowering standards. Recognize that meaningful results take time, but do not compromise the quality or intensity of your effort. Patience and persistence should coexist with high standards of execution and intentional action. Maintaining standards ensures that progress, though slow, is meaningful and prepares you for sustainable success. Use setbacks as feedback rather than defeat. Delays in results often reveal opportunities for learning, adaptation, and refinement. Analyze what slowed progress and identify corrective actions. Viewing obstacles as information rather than failure shifts perspective from frustration to proactive problem solving. Feedback from challenges accelerates growth and enhances the effectiveness of continued effort. Focus on cumulative progress and compound effects. Individual actions may seem insignificant, but repeated consistently over time, they generate exponential impact. Trusting the process of small, steady steps allows you to appreciate the long-term benefits of persistence. Recognizing the power of compounding reinforces patience and the commitment to continue even when immediate results are limited. Finally, understand that moving forward consistently builds resilience, skill, and eventual success. Slow results do not signify failure. They indicate that your foundation is being strengthened and that cumulative effort is quietly shaping significant outcomes. By committing to action, maintaining focus, learning from experience, and persevering despite delays, you cultivate the discipline, patience, and mindset required for meaningful achievement. Success is the natural consequence of persistent forward movement, and the habit of advancing steadily prepares you to seize opportunities fully and live a life of intentional growth, purpose, and accomplishment.